Monsters infest the forests. Demons foul dwarven minds. Dragons roam the skies. The populace cries out for heroes in their time of need. Heroes with cunning, prowess, intelligence, and perhaps even the favor of gods. These are not those heroes.
Games where we desperately try to play D&D and sometimes succeed. I think, as always, we'll start with a quick introduction just for anyone who may be joining us. I'll start on this side for a change of pace.
My name's Derek. I'm playing Davar, a arcane trickster forest gnome.
My name is Dan. I'm playing Stinky, the half-elf warlock.
My name is Duncan. I'm playing Arnis, a human fighter wizard.
My name's Andrew. I'm playing Tyriel, a life cleric Asimir.
My name's Amir, and I'm playing Big Richie.
You had to think for a minute there.
Yeah, I know, I'm not, yeah.
I always have to think about that. My name is Jody. I'm playing Dee Dee, a halfling ranger.
And I'm, of course, Craig, and I'm the dungeon master for this motley crew.
He's playing with himself.
It's a masturbation.
This week
Called
we
miniatures.
This week we return to our previously ongoing adventure, where our troop managed to best the top of the Tower of Quartz Toil. They've since descended the tower with many of the gnomes that have been previously captured and kind of forced into slave labor. A lot of the gnomes are kind of digging through on the second level any kind of semblance of what their life that once was. They could kind of recoup and find any materials to take with them in this new journey they seem to be beginning in their, or new period in their lives, no longer being trapped inside animated armor. Our party has faced off against a previous encountered interesting party named Garen, a halfling who seems to be some sort of warlock leading the troops. There's been a few tense moments while your party stands at the foot of the staircase as Garen demands the book from you, which you have looted from the library up at the top. Now I don't remember who had the book last time.
You made
I did because I mage hand it.
Okay, where are you right now? I just need to know where the book is.
I just need to make sure that I have mage hand still.
Do you have a mini? Oh, yes,
Yeah,
you
I do.
So you mage-handed? Is it holding right here?
No, it's at me.
Oh, at you? Okay, so I'll just put this book here.
And I told the guy to stop being it.
A dink?
Yeah.
Things.
I don't know how to do this.
Yeah,
That's
super.
the functional way to
I
hold
like
a book.
I like the book, man. Nice work.
That's so Stinky would do it.
That wasn't, that is actually a fellow named Brian made that.
Brian, he's one of our guys.
We love, Brian.
Yeah. We've all met Brian. Oh, wait.
Yeah. That's not true.
So we're now standing off, the party, two parties staring each other down, as Garen finally gives you one last warning to give him the book, or he'll attack. You now have your moments to either hand over the book or roll initiative.
Is there another book nearby?
Pardon me?
Is there another
She has a
book
bunch of
nearby?
books.
I have one.
I got one too.
Can I just throw a random book at him?
You have already kind of pulled out a book and thrown it and then mage handed it back, so his
Yeah,
focus
'cause
is
Nick
kind
to
of...
right, didn't he? Nick's character.
Okay.
Could be, yeah.
Listen, dude. I mean, we climbed all the way up this tower to get this thing, and do you know how many stairs there are? And you guys are complaining about being left down here?
Garen's just gonna simply growl at you. Enough talk. It's time to die. I need everybody to roll initiative.
That seems like a dick move.
Yeah.
Well, he's kind of a dick, and he made his point pretty clear. And
Oh, that's
Owl's not it.
let me see if I can get this all organized right.
was better than mine
Wow.
with my
-1.
That has totally dumped my strength and my dexterity.
Alright, so is anybody above 20?
Yep.
But it
21.
hits my guy.
Okay. Is anyone above 15?
Yes.
I'm 15.
16.
17.
17? Okay.
I'm above 4. That's a lie. I'm above 3.
You are 4.
Yeah. I'm just a 3 dressed up as a 9. Anybody? 3 dressed up as a 9?
And-
No.
Devar was 15.
Not this time, man. I'm sorry. Usually I got your back.
I did make a Grapes of Wrath joke on our other campaign.
I've also not read that.
But you got it.
I did get it.
What was the grapes around?
Who
I thought I'll
is
understand it.
above
Oh,
a
we were
10.
fighting some
I'm a 9.
animated vines.
9? Okay.
Animated grapevines that I.
Am I missing Stinky? You got a 4?
The Grapes of Wrath. Yeah, 3. No, 4, yeah.
And they were roommates.
What did your pet get?
Vines. No, they
My
were
pet's
not
not in
roommates.
right now.
Oh, it's dead?
No, it's not dead. It's just
It's
not
taking
in
a rest.
Yeah, in a pocket dimension right now.
That sounds so dirty.
In a pocket
It's in my pocket dimension. You're like,
I mean, wait. Didn't say it wasn't.
Alright.
Pull my finger. I need my pet.
As
Why is it a gerbil?
Tyrael, you hear the negotiations break down, and you see weapons start to be drawn. You realize that this fight is no longer unavoidable. Or is no longer avoidable, sorry. And you feel the urge to act, I guess. You have the impetus.
You can.
Yas. Let's do. How many slots do I have here? Ooh, okay, good. I didn't use any of my first level slots. I love it. Firstly, let's cast Ye Old Spiritual Weapon.
Okay. You can go ahead and place that where you'd like.
What is your spiritual weapon?
Ooh, let's do a mace, I suppose. That's kind of
Is it an appropriately sized mace, or is it comically large?
Or it's
Tiny.
It's
It's
it's got a comically large head, and then like
Guys,
it's
a
average.
pitiful, a
It's
pitiful
average.
handle.
Yeah, I like it. Okay.
Okay.
I don't even know how that thing works. Huh? It must
Oh,
be
what's
magic.
it? It's like within, what is it? Within 30 feet?
Yeah, 30 feet, and then it can move 20 feet.
3, 4, 5. Ooh, okey-dokey. It's a new spell of mine.
Okay.
And let's cast.
Is this a bat? That's Welk. That's Darkus. Arnis.
Wait,
Yeah. His name is Arnis.
is that one of our allies? Or
Why
the
are you
bad
way
guy?
out
That's
front
the bad
like
guy.
that?
That's you? Okay.
Did you just put yourself there, or is that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just
Okay.
like not looking
guess
at
we'll
anybody. You're just like,
Let's throw
this is
a
boring.
sacred flame at this guy here.
Alright.
What is it that we're
make
doing?
a
Dexterity save.
Fight?
DC 13.
Actually, what I was
Ooh,
Dex
DC
save?
15. Yeah.
Okay, dex save. Just barely makes it as this dragonborn monk or monk-looking type individual just barely leaps out of the way. She's not a monk at all. Please don't make assumptions. Just so I'm clear, this guy is Garen back here.
The leader
You
guy.
see a dragonborn in kind of loose kind of leathers and stuff like that.
Not
This
a
is the
monk.
half-orc male that you can see.
Definitely not a barbarian.
But definitely half an orc.
Yeah, he's definitely at least half. Maybe 49.9, but you're not certain at this distance.
Can I make an insight check on that?
No, unfortunately. You're going to have to get closer and a more intimate
still
inspection.
51%.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's more steps.
Yeah.
So he is able to she is just able to dodge out of the way as your radiant sphere coalesces just where she used to be. Arnis, you're kind of next to act.
Oh yeah, I'm going to stand right where I'm at and cast Witch Bolt
Okay, who are you gonna cast that
On the half orc.
Alright, go ahead and make an attack roll.
Is it that broken one?
20 to hit.
Oh yeah, that'll hit.
And so that is
D12.
a D12.
Is that a concentration spell?
It is. 10 damage.
Okay.
And now there's an arc between me and him. I'm like,
Electrocuting him
Yeah.
like the Emperor.
exactly like the Emperor, only I'm young and good looking. Just
Cusco?
saying. Just saying.
Gracchus. It's 10. Yeah, you hit him hard, and he reels back, kind of like 1 foot, kind of having to shoot back to steady himself from getting knocked over. Garen is gonna see this and kind of hiss. He's gonna move. I think he'll move. I don't know, somewhere right about here, moving forward about 10 feet. He's gonna start to cast a spell. Targeting at whoever two are in front. So targeting Arnis
Yep.
and I believe Devar.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just double check the spell. It's 2. Oh, it's 3. And then 1 on Stinky as well.
Whoa.
Are we talking magic missile?
Not quite.
Oh.
Scorching ray.
So the first one he's gonna hurl at Arnis.
Okay.
So 11 plus
Another
another.
concentration saving throws.
Pretty sure. Okay, here we go. Sorry, 17 to hit Arnis.
17 to hit.
Miss.
Okay. The second one, second ray of fire comes flying out of his hand, coming straight for Devar. Devar? Or Devar?
Devar.
Devar. Okay, for a 20 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna hit
Now before
for 7 damage.
before this happens, do I have any idea what this book is?
You do know that it is a book of minor enchantments. Presumably Rich would have filled you in when you guys had a moment to discuss.
Did we need this book is what I'm asking.
It's got some magics that seem to set the foundations for maybe something larger.
You could spend a turn reading it.
There are...
Before he hits me,
Yeah.
I would like to go, I've got the book! And scream like a little girl. So that he doesn't and try and be like, don't hit me, I've got the book!
I'll, it'll cost you your reaction,
Okay, yeah.
and he'll fire at disadvantage to avoid the...
Okay, yeah, yeah.
He's like, ah!
Unfortunately, he rolled 17 and 18. So he's going to hit you, unfortunately. Kind of at the lower midsection, kind of hit you right in the
he
gut.
gets me in my belly button. I was like King Hippo there.
For 8 damage, as this ray kind of hits you, kind of knocks the wind out of you for a
And
second.
who did that? This guy?
This guy right here.
That guy's getting it.
He's going to back up again. What is this guy?
7?
That's a magical
That's my
weapon.
spiritual weapon.
Alright, spiritual weapon.
Okay. I just didn't know what I was looking at anymore. I was lost in skirt. Dee Dee, as the fight breaks out around you,
Whenever it's my turn, I'm going to attack the crap out of
I
this
am
guy.
going to.
I'm down for that.
I don't want to move my chair and I can't reach, but I'm going to move 5 forward towards
This you?
Garen. Yep.
Can you shield well?
I'm
Two,
going to.
3,
I
4.
don't have shield, but
No,
then-
Yeah, she can move in.
No,
I'm 1 more.
no, they're both
Fine. Yep.
You can?
Perfect.
Can
Not
you?
I
shield
am
of
going
faith,
to
but
bonus
shield.
action
Regular
Hunter's
shield,
Mark
you can?
Oh, like the
Okay, who are you going to hunt?
Yeah.
Who's Mark?
Garen, and
Okay.
I will shoot him with my
Clear,
bow.
so-
Do you got a thing?
I got a thing.
Do you got elastics or whatever?
Sure. Yeah,
Why
yeah.
don't I have that
Throw a yellow one on Garen to...
This is Garen?
No,
This
the
is
back
Garen?
one, the magic one in the back.
This is Garen?
Mm-hmm.
And
I
what
was
does he
close.
got on him?
A halo.
Hunter's Mark.
Hey,
18 to hit.
what's happening?
18 will hit.
Playing footsies.
3 ways.
8 damage.
8 damage.
Hey, do you like my
Wait,
Ulrich?
yeah.
An
Just
arrow.
touching your balls with my
Hey,
feet.
Dan, do you like
An
my
arrow sprouts from
Ulrich?
Garen's shoulder, and a curse from his lips as Dee Dee hones in and fires a well-placed arrow.
Nice shot.
What's that?
Okay.
silver thing?
Yeah.
That's TBD.
That's me.
Oh,
She's got her crossbow sitting there.
I'm so confused.
You should pick that up. It's way better in your hands.
Yeah. I think
It's
that's
really heavy, so I put it
that's
down.
hard on me.
okay.
So I will have, at this time, I will have Stinky, make a perception check for me if you could.
I'm concentrated on my lightning bolts.
14.
Pretty busy reading and
Okay.
screaming.
Seconds before you realize what's going on, a tiny figure appears just beside you, snatching the book from your hands
Oh.
as your attention was drawn elsewhere.
Way to go, Stinky.
Oh, that guy's gonna get it.
Yeah, get it.
Who
Yeah,
then?
no, he's got the book.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said. As soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, that guy's gonna get it. Whoop.
Get him.
Good one.
I'm gonna
I got
lightning
it.
bolt the half orc every turn until he's dead.
Does he have to make a strength roll against my mage hand? Because that's what had it.
It was sleight of hand.
Which
She
is
just managed to slip out. You
10
didn't even
pounds.
realize she was there. How is she even
Your
gonna get out of here though?
-5
I'll take my Oh, I don't have an opportunity.
reactions. Ah, it seemed like so obvious. Yeah, of course.
Oh, you gotta try, right? Like,
Yeah.
do what your character would do.
As she starts to try and make her way around. I don't know. She's got the book. She's right there.
Yeah, we got you.
We understand.
It's a big.
So at this time,
Is that to scale?
Oh, that guy's there too?
yeah, but this person doesn't quite have a clear line of sight on you, just due to the way the
Sure.
thing comes down.
The way that
That
The
thing?
stairway comes down.
The way Craig's cheating.
The way the
Oh, no, that's good.
said
That's
so.
a good Dan cheat.
Did we take a break?
Is
Oh,
that
yeah.
us?
Or did we come straight down?
We've been finding the wasps
We have
in
not
our
stopped.
house. We don't know where they're getting in.
They probably have a ground nest.
Yeah.
They probably just sneak in a cracker or something.
Yeah, whatever.
So on Dee Dee,
As long as
This
they're
is
not
you, right?
stinging,
Yep.
They're actually super
So,
short, but
Dee
that's
Dee,
why
as
don't
you-
know what's going on.
Yeah. Well,
as you
I don't care
advance,
about
you
them.
feel an arrow sprout from your back in turn. As the human female who had been hiding behind the stairwell makes herself known, firing an arrow
At who?
at Dee Dee. So this is going to be...
I actually found wasps are usually pretty chill. Like, people freak out, but
And
as
could I
long
have
as
you
you're
make
not
a
messing with
constitution
Yeah,
saving
like
throw,
on them,
please?
then they're fine.
or fucking with their nest.
Yeah.
Nine.
We've had to dig out a
Nine?
few nests.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
you get
take 7 piercing
All you
damage
can do is dump gas in there.
and
Or
2
raid.
poison
Double
damage.
raid
Yeah.
And walk away.
Yeah, get out of there. That
Yeah.
was-
And 2 poison damage.
Okay.
Big Rick, you hear kind of a commotion and you hear Stinky kind of like, oh, guffaw and sudden start.
Rich.
It's all you.
Sorry,
Rick.
Ricky. You hear Stinky
Little
kind of
Ricky
guffaw
go.
in surprise as this little halfling kind of snatches the book from him and starts booking it towards the exit, as well as seeing this arrow hit Dee Dee in the back, kind of I don't know, in the upper part of her arm where she holds her shield. That her left arm is what I'm saying. I think I just assumed what hand
Sure.
dominant where you were.
Okay, so one,
You just
2,
assumed.
3,
There it is.
4, 5, 6. Okay, flaming spear right here, and
Oh,
they're fine.
snap.
You guys are fine.
I
Don't
gotta
worry.
turn to move away.
No, you're fine.
Within 5 feet.
No, he's
At
in
the end.
evocation or whatever.
You're fine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Does that work for that too?
And
That's an area
I
of
just
attack.
ram it into her.
I never thought of that.
So it's a dex save.
We're not used to that with him.
Dex
Yeah, that's
save,
right.
Okay.
I just blow up my party.
What's the
Dex, it's 6 damage.
what's the DC?
It is 14.
So she gets 15, so it's half damage.
Yeah, so that's 3.
Okay.
But good luck getting through there.
It's 5 feet tall. I don't know how big she is, but that's good.
She's a halfling, so she's small.
That's not
But-
likely.
At this time, the half orc is gonna go. Oh, jeez.
Where?
Yeah. I'm okay if he decides to confront me because
Yeah.
I'm lightning him. Because there's also flaming sphere beside
and
you.
and spiritual.
it's so
base.
awesome that you
Yeah.
guys can just stand beside it and not
Yeah,
have to
it's
worry.
super cool.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, you can roll the dex save, but you pass anyways and take no damage. So.
So he's gonna come in. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Oh, there's no way to get around that, is there? 5,
Yeah, because
10,
when you get an attack for opportunity,
15, 20, 25, 30. Comes dashing around the far side of
your
the...
spiritual mechanic.
No, it doesn't have on it. It doesn't have.
Dashing around the far side, just narrowly avoiding this burning sphere which has erupted in front of you.
Yeah, I'm just keeping a leash on him of the lightning.
It's like doing that thing where it like goes away and then snaps back.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
it,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
like
Yeah.
snaps
And
back
he's
to
going to
it.
as well slash out at Didi.
He's taking it.
It's a crit.
Ooh,
course.
glad you didn't attack me because I got witch bolt.
Yeah.
Which one?
What's it what?
Don't worry about it.
Well, it's good because it messes with my spell, so I'm happy. I do have advantage on my
He's like kids upstairs.
So it's going to be 11 points of slashing damage as the small halfling rogue Sala kind of feints in for an attack, forcing Didi to respond, allowing Gracchus to come in with his short sword and jab it deep into Didi's side.
Oh,
Stagger to one knee.
He staggered to one knee. It's at this point that Gracchus, seeing Didi kind of stagger, kind of grins, and he starts kind of adopting a very fluid stance as he starts shifting his weight left to
That's
right,
this
ready for the next attack to come in. Taking the dodge action.
Now, was he the half orc or the?
This is the half orc. Yeah,
Okay.
he has been hit already.
What's he got for weapon?
He's holding a short sword, and you can see a hand axe at his belt. Don't try to fit these guys into traditional.
Okay, no, I just wanted to know
because they don't.
how bad it was going to hurt if he hit me.
Stinky. Everybody
you're
here.
trying to put me in a
Really
pocket.
hurts.
can I not go?
Where? Oh, you were supposed to be right after Didi.
Who?
So we'll put you and then here, and then we'll fix rotation the
Okay.
next time. So we'll put you here, and then
Kill him fast.
I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
okay.
And I'm gonna cast sleep on. The
So sleep is an area. of
Yeah,
effect,
so it's
okay.
going to hit everybody.
The half-
Well, he
Whoever
could,
had-
here.
he could cast it over.
It's only
time.
Yeah, yeah. So you only hit that up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, whoops, sorry. I moved the flaming spear
No,
over
on-
here after.
Why?
Because it's not an evocation spell, it's a conjuration.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's the end of our turn.
But, I mean,
So
still,
let's see.
Okay.
you'd
3
stop. him.
sixes. So I've got 6, 18 plus 8 more.
26.
You would have
26.
definitely
To
done
hit?
that had you
No,
known.
No,
that's
sleep.
Sleep 26.
I hope.
Yeah.
Or you got a,
Has she
or
been
you got
hit?
a magic missile coming your way.
Shield.
She got hit, didn't she?
Yep. She got hit by the.
Just one. I want
Fireball.
I don't
Yeah,
want to waste
half
them all.
fireball.
Yeah. Okay. You said 26.
Yep.
She falls asleep, just barely, as this magically induced drowsiness overtakes her, and she kind of just
Rohitma.
lists,
Woke up at like 5:30
just kind of shifting gently in place as her eyes flutter close. Stinky, we'll have you go now.
7 hours.
Okay, I will
Non-stop.
mage hand the book back to me, because when he
I'm sorry.
falls
Duncan.
asleep, he drops everything.
Is Mage Hand action or bonus action?
Action.
You have.
Mage.
Casting time is an action.
It's bonus action.
You can use your action to control the hand. Okay, I don't do that then.
Okay.
I just leave it there. Whatever, I don't care. As long as
But the book is dropped. It's on the floor.
Presumably, yeah, it'd be kind of at her feet.
Okay.
She would have had it in her hands. Right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, don't burn her up. We want that book.
I am going to
I think she will.
cast
Chain lightning for.
fireball.
Hmm?
I don't have fireball. I'm gonna cast hold person
Okay, who you gonna cast that on?
on this guy who's dodging.
Okay. So that is
Stop it.
a save, right?
Wisdom.
don't think any of these guys are very wise. Yeah, okay.
Wise
That's cocked.
tales.
17. Unfortunately, he's able to resist the effects.
I think you're cheating, Craig.
I was expecting it to pop up like I had, it was halfway onto a 7, and I re-rolled it, and it was just straight 17. It's not my fault.
That's what I would do if it was a 7 and I didn't want my guy to get held too. I'd have back out.
Oh, that's a stare, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but somebody was shooting things at me.
I'm just saying.
This person,
Little out of character.
no, this person shot Dee Dee.
I'm just-
Yeah, I didn't get. Oh no, I got hit by something.
That guy hasn't gone.
You didn't actually get.
Yeah,
Oh
I got
yeah,
hit by
You got hit by
something,
him.
yeah.
You got hit by him when he
Yeah.
cast magic.
That's why I'm running away.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Yeah, I know.
You're like, God, I gotta.
Yeah, I'm sweating.
Stairs.
I'm glistening.
So
I have a
she's
healthy
gonna
glow.
run.
You look like me.
Yeah.
Half an hour ago. I made a good time.
Yeah, you got here
20.
fast, man. Okay.
Yeah.
She's gonna grab the book. 20.
And push that guy right away.
Yeah.
Who grabbed the book?
25, 30. The dragon, dragon.
Yeah,
board.
there's
Attack of
definitely 2
opportunity.
attacks of opportunity there.
So.
Let me just double check here.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Unless she can take the disengage action.
I can.
That's what I'm looking for.
Can I cast spells?
Are you a warcaster?
Only if you're a warcaster.
I am.
Then yes, you can cast any
But
spell.
well, I have a concentration spell.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
like
you're
fireball.
variant-
So-
are you variant human?
I am.
Okay, yeah. So that all checks out.
Only a touch spell.
I also have booming blade.
Is that a touch spell?
It's a weapon.
Replaced as a melee action. So yes.
Okay, yeah, so absolutely. Both Dee Dee and Arnis are entitled to opportunity attacks.
Okay, so as he as he makes the decision to move out of a 5-foot square, I cast booming blade on him. See if it hits first. That's a 13 to hit.
She just slips away
Okay.
from the edge of your blade.
No, you're supposed to say it's cocked.
14.
Oh, it's cocked.
14
Yeah.
Dee Dee is able to capitalize on
3 damage.
the momentary lapse.
If I had hit it, that would have been good. Because then it's if she decides to keep
Wait, you
moving.
can't do 3 damage. You have to do at least 4, don't you?
No. It was a 1, and then plus 2.
Oh, you have 14 dex. Okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense then. My mistake. I shouldn't doubt people. They would never lead me astray.
Just
Never.
because she's not min-maxing, you don't have to penalize her for it.
That's exactly what I have to do.
26 damage.
There we go. Everybody dies. Tyrael,
It was cocked.
Yes.
what would you like to do, sir?
I would like to
It was
cast
wrong.
a spell, believe it or not.
You are able to.
Sacrilege.
That is
Who
bananas.
casts spells here?
Oh, me with the guiding bolt.
B-A-N-A-S.
Who are you going
Like
to
all of us,
guiding
except
bolt?
for-
The guy that we're holding.
All of us
person
except for Dee Dee.
No, she
Oh,
even
what-
cast.
He
Oh, yeah.
resisted.
That
mark.
That miss?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
good point. We all cast spells.
In that
Yeah.
case, this guy with the
It's a
bolt.
high magic or
Yeah.
The one who's running?
And it's
Okay,
funny because we got a
Dragonborn, yeah.
fighter wizard, a rogue
I know.
wizard, you know.
It's
The orc is
bonus
one
action
person?
to use a move. So.
what's that? No, he's nothing.
Yeah,
But the
sorry, guiding
halfling's
bolt.
asleep.
Okay, guiding
The
bolt.
halfling
Boom.
is asleep, so you will crit on the halfling.
Range attack spell.
Or you could just leave it.
I just can't. Sorry,
Guys.
what?
Range
can't
attack
quite
spell.
Range attack spell, okay.
23 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a dice
So
on the
you
floor.
don't lose it, it just doesn't do any damage. Just roll that.
I needed to make a
See, like,
con
I've got
save,
you
I think, on Hunter's Mark when I took that damage.
Um,
About 10 or less than half.
It would be 10, yeah.
15
It's 10.
radiant damage, and the next
So
attack roll
what was
made
it?
against
Yeah.
this target before the end of my next turn has
I do
advantage.
like that though, that's kind of cool.
So you have plus to con as well, right?
Yeah, so it's 11.
And you don't
So
have to
they
hit
knew
it.
there. So,
So,
it's 10 or half damage,
Yeah, you just
whichever's
roll.
more.
there's a mystical dim light irradiating from him now, and as it takes 15 damage.
As
and
Tyrael throws this mystical bolt of radiant energy, kind of empowered by his god's affection for him in his recent victories, he blasts the orc in the back, who stumbles forward and collapses as this radiant energy is too much for him to bear.
also, so is he dead?
Yeah, he is dead.
All the way to dead?
Well, in theory, he's unconscious.
Let's kill him all the way to death.
And
So
just
where
crit
would he
him
be?
with
Right
the-
there. He would be right. Oh, this guy. Sorry, my mistake.
You
Yeah,
hit,
he-
you
yeah.
hit this dude?
Yeah, he has the book.
And how much did you
Right.
get for? Sorry.
Oh. Good. That
15.
makes
Yeah,
much more.
okay.
15 radiant, and the
Logical
next
sense.
attack has advantage, and that is my spiritual weapon.
It's an auto crit.
Is it?
If
Okay.
he hits.
Okay. Well. Yeah.
If
19
you
hit.
unconscious,
19 hit. You okay?
Okay.
The spiritual weapon comes down hard.
Like,
Blood kind of pouring out of this dragonborn who was just moments ago clutching the book. You realize that this was probably not their frontliner. As the book kind of tumbles to the floor and blood starts spewing from her side. Arnis, you are up next.
we'll go ahead and start with the witch bolt.
Who are you bolting?
The
The
same
same
guy.
guy.
It's,
It
it's,
stays.
it's a sustained arc.
Oh, okay, yeah.
so he doesn't have to hit anymore. He's already
11
hit.
more damage to that guy.
Oh, okay. Is there
That's
a
good.
resist or anything, or is it
No.
just?
If it hits the first time, as long as I keep concentration up, it's every
And
turn.
don't do anything else.
Is it the one where it's like you
With
roll the
the
dice
action.
and it's different on each thing, or is that the
No.
other one?
No, this,
That's like
this,
prismatic
once I hit,
spray or
it just is a
something.
sustained arc of
Color.
electricity.
He
Every
screams
turn.
out in pain.
Chaos bolt.
He screams out in pain as you hit him with this arcane bolt. As the energy kind of like surges and flares and hits him again. You can tell that he is not taking this too well. 5, 10,
Who are you doing that to?
The
The
half
orc?
orc guy
Mm.
right beside me.
20, 25. He's gonna grab the book.
Oh, I didn't. I should have moved. I didn't.
That's fine.
We'll kill him.
Oh, I can't do anything too much more, can I?
Nope.
Not without breaking the rules into a noticeable fashion.
Legendary action. Grab
Yeah,
the book.
I cast.
Dimension
Fuck
door
yourself.
out of
You
here.
can cast haste.
He has
Dee
lair,
Dee,
lair
what would you like
action,
to
grab
do?
book.
Kill him.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry you kicked me as I say kill him, eh? See how this
Ladies,
is.
Whoops. Let her
drop
play
the
her
crossbow,
character.
so she's gonna both
She's gonna
hands
kill
on
him.
Gracchus with the short sword and the scimitar.
Okay. He spins around with a flourish. I don't know.
Flourish?
Flourish?
I already said flourish once.
Oh.
Her blade's coming
Yeah.
out in a flash, as quick as a viper.
17 to hit,
Hits.
6 damage,
Okay.
and ooh, that'll miss. That's an 8 with the short sword.
Total? Yeah. He's able to dodge the second one. Just kind of as the half orc has just recently ducked, seeing the guiding bolt fly over his head. He wasn't aware when your first sword came in, slicing him deep. But he is able to dodge out of the way of the second one.
Okay.
Devar, what would you like to do?
I feel like my only option is to shoot the guy with the bow.
Kick him in the nards.
Okay, yeah, you can go ahead and make an attack roll.
That's also an option.
Just trying to decide if that's what I want to do though. Hold on. 'Cause it's not like I'm going to get sneak attack on him, but I could get sneak attack on the half orc.
You could.
Yeah, whatever.
So you know what?
Do something.
We're going to go for the half orc.
Go ahead and make your attack roll.
That'll be 19.
Oh yeah, that'll hit.
So 3d6 worth of damage.
Okay.
Yeah,
They're great, right?
yeah.
So there'll be 16 points of damage.
Okay, as Devar
Yeah.
takes makes a capitalization on the orc's weakened state as Didi had jabbed him real good.
So now that
He takes a second arrow kind of to the back of the neck and quickly slumps to the ground.
I'm going to move here and hide.
Okay. That's a bonus action.
Stealth roll?
So go ahead and make a stealth roll for me.
17.
Yes.
You can't see Garen from your point of view,
That's fine.
so you imagine that he probably doesn't know where you are.
There's also this guy.
She's asleep
She is asleep, so she cannot.
She
and
doesn't
takes
do
a
anything.
critical
Did you forget about this
dex
guy?
damage. Flaming spear.
No, I
He's done
didn't.
nothing.
No, I didn't forget about him.
Are you sure?
You
His
don't take a
initiative was so
critical.
low, he lost his
You
first
automatically
attacks.
fail dex
Oh.
saves.
Okay, but okay.
And wakes up.
7, but
7. Okay.
does wake up. But I mean,
But she wakes up at the end of her turn.
Yeah.
So
When
she can't do
yeah,
anything.
'cause she finishes her turn and then takes the damage.
Seeing.
Oh, because it always cocked the dice.
She is gonna fire her arrow at Arnis, seeing this kind of arcane.
It's good though. It's good.
Almost
Puts
moving
it-
like a lightning bolt, like a lightning bolt, kind of arcing and sparking towards her master. She's gonna fire at Arnis. 4. She's gonna miss though, as one of the actual arcs of arcane power kind of like flies off and knocks the arrow just at the last time. It's
How
kind
do you
of
have the
remarkable.
arcane bolt on the orc?
The orc is dead. So when the orc died, the lightning faded.
No, you're attacking Garen, I
Oh,
believe.
it's the orc.
It's okay. He's dead. Everybody's dead.
The orc is dead.
Okay.
Except Gary.
Big
Was out of range of Garen originally.
Okay, I misunderstood.
No, that's okay.
so bonus action, I'm gonna move the flaming sphere over
Garen
here
took the damage, so.
and ram it up against the little guy. Dex save again, 14.
Just
'Kay,
ram
dex
it
save
against the little
14.
guy.
That's cocked. That was good.
Don't think he's gonna be able to make it. Okay.
10 damage. And the chromatic orb as well.
That's what's so good about that flaming spear.
Yeah.
You can move it, then you can start like.
And that is
That's a spiritual
an
weapon, I
18 to hit.
18 will hit.
Okay, well. 1, 7, 13. 13 fire damage.
Okay. As this sphere of compressed fire comes hurtling at Garen, his eyes widen for a second as he realizes he doesn't have time to get out of the way before kind of a muffled yell as this hits him in the face, tumbling him over backwards as the book goes flying from his grasp.
Oh, he's kind of unconscious as well.
I yell an insult at him, and I be like, "Don't touch my book." It's not really an insult. It's like, "Don't touch my book."
Grankus is
Books are
Grankus is dead.
So tired. Why do we always gotta do the fighting? Can't we Can we have a- everybody got
Garen's dead.
s'mores?
Stinky. What would you like to do?
Eat some s'mores.
There's still a guy.
I'm gonna cast
Firebolt.
cast Hex on him.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna shoot
Which one,
that
this guy
Yeah,
or
that
this
guy.
guy?
No, that guy right
Okay,
there.
go ahead.
This guy.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's closer.
Sleepy guy?
And he stole your book.
Yeah, and he stole my book. And he,
And
yeah,
it's-
and plus I don't like him.
So she is prone right now because she fell asleep. So you would
Okay, yeah,
have
disadvantage.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm still hexing him though.
that's cool. Strength, dex.
Hex. Yeah, I will dex
Okay.
him for sure. In case he tries to do something sneaky. Oh, that probably hits. +6. Yeah, so yeah, 19.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, 14 plus 4 is 18 points of damage.
That is correct. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. You hear nothing more than a slight whimper, as her cloak is kind of catching on fire, and your Eldritch Blast kind of just pounds her into the ground, and she kind of stops moving or making noise.
Yeah, and she smells really bad now.
Kra is also
Brimstone.
out.
What's that?
Brimstone.
No,
Tyrael.
Aha.
like sulfur.
That's brimstone.
That's
Is it?
When it's only got it's like a bit.
What?
Yeah.
That's fair.
Is brimstone a real thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the Bible.
Oh.
There's lots.
Well,
of
that
these.
solves it for me then. It must be real.
That was the joke.
Let's use one I haven't used yet. Oh wait, can I do this one? Is this a bonus. It is. And, oh no, those are both slotted. I can't do both those. Damn. Okay, well, let's just do a guiding bolt.
Okay, go ahead and make a attack roll.
I'm gonna move into line of sight first.
Oh,
You're just
That would be
moving away
helpful.
from Stinky, aren't you?
Yeah. Gonna kind of peek around the
First
bottom
one.
of the stairs here. Yeah, guiding bolts.
Alternative names. Okay.
Attack
I've never heard. Like I knew fire
No.
and brimstone. The
9.
saying.
Yeah.
Nine to
I
hit.
didn't know if it was
9
like.
to hit.
Yeah. it's like
Unfortunately, she is able to
Acidic, like, yeah.
just
Yeah,
step
right.
out of the way as
Terrible.
your bolt comes flying past her.
Yeah, like.
Arnis.
I'm gonna run over to.
Oh,
Or
use
did
my
you-
spiritual weapon too.
Oh, sure.
do that.
It's not going to be able to get over to her today.
Oh,
this
what
turn,
about, are
so-
these guys down and out, or are they just downed?
They're not going to be able to get back up unless she heals them and she can't get to them.
Okay, well, I can just move it over
Yeah.
there a little bit.
Can I see that dude from where I'm at?
Yeah.
It's got 20 feet.
30.
Yeah, that's about right.
So I can actually get to that guy.
Mhm.
I'm gonna I'm gonna use Booming Blade as a cantrip, which is an attack roll.
Okay, make your attack roll.
That's cacked.
It was.
I would have been pretty happy with it, but
What did you do, a 5 and a 3?
Okay.
it was a 13, and then it was a 3.
Womp.
Well, it was like a.
It was a cocked 13.
Dee Dee.
I am going to move up 3 squares that way, please, kind of diagonal. After I grab my crossbow again,
Okay.
and I will.
Or were you
shoot
looking to
it
be
that
forward?
way.
Maybe
No,
roll
that's
later,
okay.
Yeah, take a shot there.
12.
12, unfortunately, trying to spare Arnis. Arnis, a bolt in the back. You're not quite able to get a clean shot as this individual kind of ducks and weaves using Arnis as a barrier.
I give you side
Devar.
Back eye.
eye. Yeah.
I'll shoot the last guy.
Yeah, go ahead and make an attack roll.
I'm hidden, so I get the advantage.
Not from her, unfortunately.
Magical bad guy.
She was standing right here, and she just watched you skirt across and hide behind some barrels. If you had ducked out to hit one of the other guys, it was definitely an advantage. But she was looking right at you.
I'm a forest gnome. I'm little.
You are little.
Fine.
He's not blind.
No, that's not gonna do it.
9.
No. Terror.
Where were these rolls at the beginning when I needed them? She is going to contemplate life. Holy Hannah.
Yep.
Jesus.
Is
I
that
believe
the
she
way?
may be running.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, I will hide again.
Sure. Yeah, give a stealth roll, because I think she's going to disengage. 15, 20, 25, 30. She's like a trapped rat.
18.
Yeah, with her kind of ducking out of the way, you do believe she's probably lost sight of you this time. Tyrael.
I thought I was after.
Cool.
Oh,
I'm going
Yeah,
to
because we
go.
missed that.
Is this a blind corner?
Or wait, how did I call Tyrael? Sorry, my mistake, Big Rick.
Fine.
Oh,
Rich.
yay.
Big Rich.
Okay.
Let's see how it is.
Little Ricky.
Big Arnis.
Little Ricky.
You'll get
Alright.
your names right at some
1,
point.
2,
It's okay, I'll just kill the
3.
characters.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
Simpler.
Until they all name
4,
themselves Regis.
5.
Patrick.
Patrick?
Patrick.
Philbin.
Can we all be level 1 wizards?
Yes, only.
As long as we're all named Patrick.
Forever.
As soon
We
as
are
you
Patrick.
We got 1d4
to like
HP.
the Borg.
Yeah. We will assimilate you.
Do I have line of sight on him from there?
Yeah. She'll get a 1/3 cover bonus or whatever
Half?
it is.
Am I in a stairwell?
The +2, half
Yes.
cover. Yeah. You do appear to be. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was a dais or a
Or wait.
stairwell.
Where are
That
you?
was the stairwell going
This
up
is me.
the tower.
Okay. Yeah. You are. Yeah. It's a stairwell going up.
It's kind of like a spirally half sphere.
Okay,
I got that impression. I just didn't know for sure.
I'll
You didn't
firebolt.
know.
I'll
Totally.
chromatic orb him. Why not?
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh no, I shouldn't have done that. Okay. It's 10.
The chromatic orb kind of skitters across the stone of the stone pillar of the staircase. Unfortunately, sending a flames and sparks just past her head as she pulls her face out of the way. Just able to get out of the way. Stinky now.
Don't dodge.
How can I get around this? What's my like path of?
You just gotta come out here. So if you were to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, you can get a half cover
Okay.
shot.
I'll move my hex and still dex.
Okay.
And
Go ahead and make an attack roll.
uh, 15
15 hits.
for 11 damage.
11 damage is actually enough to do it.
I get so many killing blows because I'm always at the end of the round.
As this archer with her little short bow kind of takes one final, or really only one hit in the chest, as she's trying to duck out again, not realizing a second person had made their way in front of her, just takes it full in the chest and over the back, and kind of like oh my god, and kind of falls over backwards, collapsing in a comical fashion.
And I fall to my knees.
Exhausted.
I'm like, guys, I can't go on. We have to stop here. I can't go any. Mage Hand is like not doing anything.
It's got to ring out.
Yeah, but it can't because it's only one hand.
Yeah.
I'll lend you my mage hand.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Two mage hands.
As long as you don't got to touch.
But they're both right hands, and so it's like a weird.
It's a weird.
Yeah.
Actually, you won't see my mage hand, so you'll see just the rag
Oh.
twisting.
All right.
It just looks like it's like flapping in the breeze, kind of calling to a lover or whatever.
Yeah.
And with this final member of the party kind of falling to the ground, the ground floor has fallen silent once again.
I loot these.
I
guys.
loot the shit out of everything.
With my mage hand.
Where's my money?
I am so all over everything.
I wanna kick over some boxes. And
Like if I
Yeah,
can't
I'm with
reach
you,
them
I'm
with my
checking
mage
the room.
hand from where I'm standing, I don't loot them.
Okay.
And I just trust everybody else. And by trust, I mean I could.
Can I walk over and pick up the book and start flipping through it?
Yeah, I believe. Do you have the copy? Who has the book right now? The actual.
It's
Is it-
still
It's
on the
at his
floor.
house, I bet.
Oh.
Oh,
Is
that.
it on your
wait.
fridge?
Yeah, that's on my fridge.
What does it do?
Lots of cool stuff.
It's a book about animating things like gauntlets and stuff like that.
Oh.
No.
It's
It's got several things. We can go over it maybe at a different time. I
Yeah,
don't
a
know
few
if I have.
enchantments.
I
they last
definitely,
an hour.
I'm definitely sitting down and reading through it.
You can't,
Yeah, see if I can glean
you
any
can't get any of the
rituals.
spells.
Is there any rituals I
I
can?
can't
Yes, they're all rituals. They're not conventional spells. They're
Non-conventional.
yeah, they're kind of. I can't remember them all offhand, but a lot
that's
of them
fine.
are.
But I start to scribe them in my.
You can't scribe these ones, unfortunately. It's not those kind of spells.
So it's not a ritual spell.
When you try to write it,
They're spells
So I
that are
can't.
they're spells that are
Okay.
conducted in a ritual,
a wizard did it.
but they're not the same kind of ritual spells that you're used to. These are
I
something
do
a little
it
bit
anyways.
different.
I write them in. I say.
I can't read.
Today, I read a book.
I just write it in my book. I'm just like, I don't know why these aren't working.
Today I read
You're
a book
sweating
about
so
I'm,
spells.
much
I'm copying
that
it
it's
down,
dripping
and I
down
do.
your
Like I
knee.
copy it down. I'm like, I don't understand these
Yeah,
stupid.
It's a photocopy. He doesn't know what he's doing,
spells.
but it's a photocopy.
I don't know why it's not working, but here they are. So they're in my book.
I also,
Okay.
we're doing this together.
I'm
Yeah.
looting
Okay.
for.
So, you guys are able to find.
So I want to animate gauntlets. That's the one.
Just trying to figure out where the.
The
So-
ultimate stranger.
Gross. you
That's
can
okay.
find.
That's already what made it.
Yeah.
This guy.
It's super awkward when you walk in. Just a suit of armor. An animated suit of armor. Wait.
This is like comfy.
Where's this book?
I tell you that piece.
So you are able to find a couple vials of poison on the one
No.
I don't.
on the
I get
archer.
it.
She has a couple of vials of poison.
Oh, poison.
No,
Can you throw the poison, or do you have to like coat your
That's for weapons. Yeah. You do find 3 vials of
Not my
acid
thing.
on the halfling female.
Okay.
As well as Garen's spell focus is kind of a black sphere with kind of like a roiling, almost like a storm, trapped inside of this kind of like crystalline ball.
Oh, that's really cool.
Does anybody have identify
Yeah.
ritual?
Yeah, you can usually cast it.
Can we take a I think we're gonna take a short rest here, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And we'll
Yeah, that sounds
identify the source if there's anything with it, and then we'll take a short
I'm
rest.
just gonna go ahead
Is
and
it
use
another-
arcane recovery.
Thing that we got.
We're gonna use a hit point.
Relax
Do we have a
me.
bard?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
We
I want
did.
Song
but-
of Rest.
I was barred last week,
Yeah.
but we weren't doing our primary.
Sometimes I sing.
I am a cleric though, so I'm a life cleric too, so I'm looking for that.
Yeah, but I don't want you burning spells to like. I can use my
the
hit
bills,
dice.
the boat today. The business sales. Not
I'm
helping.
trying to figure out where the item
No, that
is.
totally helps.
I can
So
do
good.
23 points of healing.
Only to half though.
Up until half, yeah. I can.
Yeah,
but
I'm
so-
not below half.
I'm not. That's just
You're cool.
I was well
I don't even. I've had
What
that
is-
for a year.
What does this mean? Kill CR
I don't like it.
half.
No, that's
Undead that
different
fails
strokes
save
for
versus
different
turning.
strokes, my friend.
So I will
It's
use
talking about
two
your channel
hit dice.
divinity. It
Yeah.
sounds like.
It's
Yeah, that's
turn undead / kill
I
undead.
can't figure out where the freaking
Or
item is.
destroy undead.
Jen,
What was
this
it?
here called trash bandit or
So does anybody
Yeah,
want
you
the
can plug
poison
this
or the
trash
acid?
No,
It's trash panda.
trash panda.
Yeah, does anybody
Not my
want-
ammo.
It's trash panda.
Yeah.
I don't use weapons.
Okay.
Hey, you can apply it to
It's IP.
arrows and the like.
One
Just
No,
so
no.
you know.
Still not my.
The acid would be something that you would just physically throw.
Yeah, I wouldn't, but somebody could.
Do you want the acid or the poison?
I'm a trickster.
Not really.
I'm not here for.
I mean,
damage.
Mine.
I can coat my blade with it, but it's
I'm
not
here to be a nuisance.
really in character.
Alright. So you
I-
take 2 acid and 3 poison.
I can't
Yeah.
throw things
Other way around. Three
Three
acid,
or
2
hit
poison.
things.
The book is called Artificer's Book
Yeah,
of
I
Minor
would-
Infusion.
What's it called?
Artificer's Book of Minor Infusion.
Acid is 1d6.
I feel like hitting
and
thrown
poison
from
is
you
what?
is like a minus.
Poison is 1d6.
It
Acid,
is.
I'd have to look up, and I'm not sure if it's
I have
1d4
my
or
dagger
1d6.
that I'm
Okay. I
proficient
already
with.
had
Oh,
one.
you know what?
And the
It would
damage
be
is 1d4
it would be in
minus 1.
I don't know if it's the same
Who needs
because
some
it's,
HP?
That's
it's
pretty
the
good.
acid that she
Who
has.
needs HP?
It is.
I don't think
Oh,
anybody
no, no.
does. I think we kind of took care of that
It's
pretty
2d6.
well.
I mean, I took a hit, but that's about
So it's a
it.
5.
Yeah, I rolled a hit
weapon.
dice
I don't
to
even
get it
remember
back.
I'm
what
lucky
HP
enough to have
is.
19
Or,
ace.
yeah.
What's that?
19 ace.
Is
Yeah.
that how that works? Yeah,
I didn't
5
get
feet is your range,
I don't think I've been.
Yeah.
Wish
or
you-
20 feet is your max range.
I can only go up one more level. People that get half plate.
I don't know where my.
Oh, you can't get full?
Well, I could, but it's not better. I'm dex based.
Yeah.
I can't remember where this.
You
map
get medium
is
armor
from.
master too.
So, you do find.
It's nice for a dex build.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm.
You do
fighting,
find
so I
on
can wear heavy.
on Garen
Yeah, but
himself.
with a medium-
He's holding this kind of crystal ball, which seems to is most certainly an arcane focus. It's definitely a +1 that you've determined. However, it does appear that there is something kind of deeper and more sinister locked away within its depths. As you identify it, it's almost like it's calling to you to like to peer deep within it with promises of power.
I would like that.
I like to egg you on. I'm like, yeah.
Knock yourself out.
I take it.
He knocks himself out by hitting it on his head.
Just a heads up. I don't know. Or sorry, just heads up. It's you see his face. It looked terrible, right?
I'm like,
His face looks terrible.
I'm like, do you see me? Does his face look all screwed up, Craig?
Yeah, it's definitely far more like gaunt than a typical halfling would be.
That's like the free
Yeah, I
weight
want
loss
that.
program.
Yeah, I want that. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like it's like meth, right?
Yeah, yeah. Fun
Exactly.
and weight loss.
Crystal.
Yeah, I'll take that thing.
Fun and weight loss.
Do I have to attune to it or what?
No, it's just a simple +1. However, there is.
An effect that you have yet to experience.
Yeah, I think I'm actually missing this page somehow.
You
Seems
will.
like it's just fine.
You will at some point find out.
seems all good.
So because he cast identify on it, I will let you know that it is a +1. However,
I won't let him know though.
I will let Rich know that it is a +1 spell focus. However, you can attempt to peer into its depths and try to harness more of its power that is locked away.
That seems like something.
However, it doesn't appear to be
Safe.
the safest method
You're
of
a greedy
handling
fat
it.
man.
You believe that there could
I
be
am a warlock.
consequences for misuse of the item.
I feel like you didn't get your power by like wholesome.
Yeah, I wasn't like, hey.
How would I have a pact with a devil?
Yeah.
Well, I
I
could
don't
work
know your
real
backstory,
hard and
though.
earn this magic myself.
Or
Make a sweet deal for
I
it.
could just align myself
At
with
some point in time, when I'm not busy reading this book of super crazy cool gauntlets, I'm gonna ask you about your history.
it. Okay.
Not now, though.
Yeah, I might have.
Seems good. Reading the book.
I got this thing.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've misplaced that particular treasure sheet, but it's all online. I just don't have.
Okay, that's fine. Well, we can figure
I
it out.
wonder.
I'm not.
accepted.
All I'm gonna do is just use it as a
I
+1 spell
really wish
focus.
someone had.
Yeah, so it.
So
can
that's
be-
like spell attacks
we all.
I believe it's attack and.
and DC.
I'm very tired.
I'm not 100% sure. Let me check on
How
it
does
before
that work?
Okay, yeah, that's
I
fine.
think it just slipped out of my binder
I don't
maybe
think
because I cut
there's
up a
no way
sheet of
it's
paper.
easy.
Day shift pretty chill out there.
There's no day shift. It's all just.
The Warlock's Rod is DC, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
If
but
you're on days.
that's.
Are you guys just taking a short
Yeah,
rest?
I think we'll just take a short rest and then move on,
That's
right?
good because I already did.
It's kind of later. Yeah, it's just past noon a little bit. I'd say about 2 o'clock.
But how long will it take us to get back to town?
Probably it took you about 2 days to get here,
Oh, okay, yeah. We'll take a short rest and then start going, I guess.
so you probably end up a little bit late afternoon. In about 2 days, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just realized.
Or do we just like stay and then show up? Like if we, this is safer than the woods, right?
We could.
I'd say so.
And that gives me more time.
Well, but this is safer than the woods. We may as well long rest here,
Are we
and
long
then
resting?
and then go and then start out in the morning,
I'm
and
all
then we only have to spend one night in the woods, and we'll be at town the second night.
Yep.
If everything goes according to plan, which it always does.
Yes, of course.
Always indeed.
Every intention
Alright.
to sleep here tonight.
Okay, yeah. So we just sleep and maybe like lock the. Could we lock the front door?
Yeah, you can close it.
Let's
Dee Dee
pile
will
up
go
some of
around
that rubble
and
that we
make kill shots
created.
on everybody.
What's that?
The rubble. We smashed open all the boxes that are here.
Oh yeah, we'll just pile shit in front of
The
the
first
door.
time you guys kind of came through, you did.
Wreck up the place.
A few corpses by the door. Just.
Yeah, we'll just like.
Yeah, we'll throw the corpses up there too. Why not?
Absolutely, you can.
Well, we've got
And I
the
just
guys
used my
upstairs
mage
still
hand
in
to
the
make one of the
barracks.
corpses do this out the front door.
Just
No.
wave it.
Yeah.
Get the other ones going like this.
They're doing the wave through the window.
You guys have to coordinate that. You're so good at it.
1, 42, 43.
During this long rest, I'm going to cast Arcane
Okay,
Ward.
okay, here we go,
It's,
here we go.
What does that do? Oh yeah.
That's my class ability.
Okay.
It gives me.
Long rest. I didn't really need
Okay,
a long
so-
rest,
I did.
+1 to attack and damage rolls. Additionally, you can gaze into the orb to attempt to harness a portion of its power.
but attack and damage.
Yeah.
So
On a fail save, these things happen.
Can you like share it with me or something? So because I'll just homebrew it, right?
It's just literally a plus one
one.
to attack and damage. And there you can also attempt to make a to harness more of its power.
I'm definitely gonna do that, but it doesn't affect DC though, right?
No.
Okay.
No, but you would be able to try to increase its power to a +2, but there would be an associated risk with it.
Of course.
So from basically mid-afternoon, or was it mid-afternoon or right afternoon?
It was about
Early
mid, yeah, like early afternoon, sure.
Early afternoon? How much time do I have till like nighttime?
You would run out of materials
Ah.
more. You got enough for one more free copy.
Okay.
But there will be a cost soon associated with that. You got your 2 free ones.
What are you copying?
A spell.
Spells out of the actual wizard's or lich's spell book.
Oh,
So you found the lich's spell book as well as this other book, which is the Artificer's Book of Minor Infusions. It lists things like energy alteration infusion, glowing item infusion, lesser armor enchanting infusion.
Can we use it? Like if I try and cast it?
You absolutely can use the spell book, but because of the nature of the spell book, it seems to be kind of its own contained thing.
So I just can't transfer it, but I could still use it.
Yeah, it seems to be like a one of a kind.
More like kind of a scroll that doesn't wreck when I use it.
It's more like just like a simple spell book that just
Okay.
due to the complexity of what it's conveying, it's not simple. You can't just copy it into another
it's
book.
like tied into the whole mechanics of the spell book are tied together. Or something.
Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of setting a lot of groundworks. You don't think you could just copy
Alright.
one thing out.
What books did you get out of the Lich's spell books there?
A lot.
Can I see?
Yeah.
I didn't
If
think
we
you were gonna
if we
share.
have the gold to do it, we still can't copy spells right now.
Sorry, Big Rich did find enough kind of components to copy 2 spells into his book.
All right.
But yeah, you would have to get to town
we have to
before
wait
you.
till we're in town, and then we can spend the gold to get the components and all the things.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
The inks and dyes that you would need to.
Okay.
Did they have
I
the
will
gold
wait.
on them?
They did not have any gold on them. It seemed as
Well, you
though they
guys
were.
really- I need to write this down.
Let's share information,
Through
guys.
faith, all is possible.
Through faith, all is possible.
I just have all the spells, guys.
So you guys are able
Just
to
talk, yeah.
take a long rest this night, making use of the kind of gnomish domicile on the second floor. A couple of you probably have to push beds together to get anything remotely long enough to
Not
lie
me.
upon. Pardon me?
Not me.
No, you've got actually a very nice cupboard. You sleep standing up. It's just you feel more comfortable in kind of a closeted
Mhm.
space.
Nobody can get behind me.
Exactly. I feel like there's a joke there, but I don't know what it is. In the morning of the second day dawns on you. You all realize that your rations are starting to get a little stale, and you're kind of running out of them. As well as you have about a dozen gnomes who are all looking up at you, kind of with expectant eyes, hoping for some sort of direction or indication as what they should do with themselves.
Be
What do
free.
you guys like to do?
If you want to come with us to town, you can. I mean, just
I don't
if
believe you. Could you touch
shit
my
goes
wife?
down, just hide. But
Nope.
So there's kind of a quiet murmur throughout the gnomes as they discuss this option. Before long, one of them does approach you and kind of nods, and yeah, we don't want to be here anymore. Bad memories, eh?
that's good idea. Yes.
It's been a long time since you were out, though. It's not going to be how you remember.
Yeah, they kind of chuckle. Yeah, but anything's better than here, really. So yeah, you guys are able to head out if that is what you so choose. I kind of assume that's what you'd like to do.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Heading towards town.
Mhm.
So you're able to. Let's see. Nothing's gonna. Yeah. The first day you're traveling down. You take the elevator back down. Traveling your way slowly, winding out of the mountain passes, reaching more towards the forest. At the end of the first day, you're able to find a campsite probably very close to where you originally camped next to the interested party that one kind of fateful night when you met them.
Can we do a quick search around that campsite to see
Yeah.
if they put anything there that they were going to pick up on their way out?
Sure, yeah, you can make a
Guidance.
I'm gonna call it survival check because you're looking for natural like hollow logs and
That's a 4.
What about guidance?
Well, I rolled a 2 and guidance was a 1. My survival is a 1, so that's
Really?
a 4.
So Dee Dee kind of knocks around on some trees looking for like maybe hollow logs or
They're
maybe
definitely trees.
or maybe in a small burrow where they might have stashed their goods, but unfortunately you're not quite
Stick
able
my
to.
head into the burrow and look around.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
take
there
a-
is a very startled badger that kind of quickly scuttles back deeper into its burrow, seeing Dee Dee's face poke into its home for a moment.
I'm gonna take a look too.
Sure.
I'll help you.
It's 22.
Um,
It's a survival, right?
yeah.
Yeah, 22.
We'll say that you do find a small cache of about 100 gold.
Nice. I did it. It's all mine.
Um,
It's going to my church.
However, at this time, several of the gnomes are starting to complain that they're getting hungry. They haven't had much to eat. You have about a dozen of them.
I
tell them there's a badger in the burrow they can go get.
I can go get food for 6 people. That's it.
Okay.
It's an outlander, but yeah.
Oh, sure.
I cast light.
Make a survival roll then for me.
You
Guidance.
Okay, so that's a 6 plus 4. That's a 10, 13.
13. So the wording is you can usually grab enough food for 6. Is that right?
Yeah, for 6, as long as we're in a place where there's berries or little game.
Yeah. I'm gonna say.
I think I can do that too. Rangers have that spell, right?
You have a
Or
slightly different ability, but I think you have something similar. I believe it's slightly different, but I think you have something very similar. Yeah.
You can always remember the layout of a region's
Let me
geographical
see
features.
here. So you got 12 gnomes.
And can usually find enough food and water for 6 people.
Can I just
I
go
think
around?
your thing is that you have advantage on survival checks in forests.
Okay.
So
Go
you're
around,
able
cast the
to
diamond.
gather enough food for about actually 8 of the gnomes. And they're able to try and spread that out a little bit. Being gnomes, they don't have as high caloric intake as some more rotund members of the party. No, that wasn't a slight against you. That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, just remember all the good things that Big Rich did.
It sounds like oddly ominous.
I have rations as well, so we're only a day out of town, so we can use them all up.
Let's see here, base Ranja. So I believe you can make the natural explorer. When you forage, you would find twice as much food as you normally would. And because you are in a forest, I believe, and that is your favorite terrain.
Yep.
Favorite terrain should give you advantage on your survival checks. Favorite terrain.
8.
Guidance?
Was that with advantage?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was 2 sevens. 10. But
This
I have
doesn't
rations.
seem like it's going
so,
well.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
you
Badger startled me.
find
a badger.
He's bigger than I am.
you find enough food for 3 more gnomes.
Okay.
And with enough for about, so you found 8 plus 3 is 11.
And I have 6 rations.
So yeah, the gnomes are very thankful and able to kind of get themselves well fed. They weren't able to scrounge anything up at the tower. Everything's about 100 years out of date, past expiration. You're able to break camp the second morning. Still about so you have about 1 more night in the forest before making it all the way back. On your journeys there, again, it seems like a lot more kind of a natural, harmonious tone has been restored to the world. There's more kind of birds chirping. You cross over the bridge where you had that fateful encounter with one of the golems, and everything seems a lot nicer. You don't get this kind of foreboding sense hanging over the woods. Especially Dee Dee would notice this being so in tune with nature.
I cast mage armor.
Okay. You're able to make camp the second night out,
Okay.
realizing that you'll probably make it to town about mid-afternoon the next day. That night is again very quiet. You're not
As we're setting up, I ritual cast alarm
okay.
for the area. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, you're able to do so. Again, this has been another almost a reassuring night. You feel like the land is kind of returning more towards natural state. The next morning, I guess, finish up whatever kind of rations that you guys do have left. I'll get you guys, whoever made those survival checks again. So I believe you get an advantage.
Crit.
20, yeah.
8.
And you have 8. So this time, let me just,
11.
there she is. So this time, Dee Dee brings in a little bit more food than Rich, but you're kind of a little bit shy. A couple of the gnomes, it seems like, are a little bit don't quite get as much food as they would like, but you imagine that as far as things could be, all of the gnomes are still probably going to be able to make it to town in safety. You don't think any of them are in danger of starving to death, thankfully.
I haven't eaten for 100 years.
Yeah,
An
that's
extra
true.
day isn't gonna matter.
Those poor gnomes.
Also, if you're starving, you can't eat all at once. That'll just hurt you.
It's been a couple of days.
Sure. we could worry about the magical whether it's magically induced or not. Anyway, so I think so. I got one more kind of thing that I want to run. I wonder if we should take a break now or in a minute. Do you guys want to break now or in a few minutes?
I'm good to go.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. I'm going to take a slight break there. So on the second, after the second night, you guys travel for probably about 6 hours as the small village of Determia starts to kind of make its way out of the out of a clearing.
I guess
That's
mage
the
armor.
most awkward way of phrasing that. As you kind of come around a bend,
Yes.
opening up into a field, finally laying eyes upon the village of Determia once again, with your just ramshackle band of gnomes kind of talking to themselves quietly, following your party. You see in kind of just the outskirts of town, you see Ovel just kind of chatting to one of the townsfolk. When he turns his head to see you, to see all of you, and you see a wide grin kind of burst out across his face, and you see him unhook like a little bit of a pouch from his belt, and just kind of just nonchalantly tossing it up and down before you guys get close enough. He tosses it to you, to Big Rich's outstretched hands.
Can I mage hand it before he gets it?
Yeah, you can make a sleight of hand check. Yeah,
What do I do?
he's trying to grab it before you grab it.
You just see it come. It's an invisible mage hand, so
14.
14. Yeah, it kind of halts in the air just a few feet in front of Rich, and you're just what? As this bag kind of halts in the air for a moment.
Owls out and then grabs it back into pocket dimension.
Okay. Abel just kind of laughs to himself. Says, you wouldn't believe it. One of my mates was just about to get crushed by one of them golems, and the damn thing just froze, and then shook itself to part right in front of us. I figured you guys might have had a little success there.
No. We failed.
Do you know how far away that place was? We just walked for 2 days. I lost some weight.
It looks like you got enough to spare, though. kind of turns towards the center of the town.
not
Come on.
sensitive
We're adding to your
uh,
population.
weight issues.
Oh, yeah, you guys are
and we got some gnomes.
I'm not sure. I'm sure there's something we can have them do around here. Well, we'll have to make some accommodations.
And they eat a lot.
Yeah, they don't have to be very big accommodations. They're just we.
Just we. He kind of laughs to himself. Well, we're pretty welcoming bunch here. But you should know, we're having a bit of a celebration here tomorrow. It's kind of just fortunate that you guys defeated these constructs, the founding of our town, we're having a celebration tomorrow anyway, and a lot of us villagers are kind of holding a little bit in honor of you guys for helping us so much. It's been a great boon to our city. We don't think we would have been able to manage without you. Even the lords of the town have kind of requested your presence, but I don't know. I'd maybe go after or something. Whatever.
Do I have to stand?
No, but there may be a slight incline that you'd have to get up to.
Is there some sort of means of conveyance to
Guidance.
get me up there?
There are 2 legs available to you directly underneath yourself.
Guidance, though, they're
Okay, yeah.
slightly stronger.
Bless.
There are lots
All-
of gnomes
all-
here.
all
They
five.
can
Oh, right. I could
make something.
I could make them get like a thing to carry me,
Mm,
like
okay.
Yeah.
That's not a good idea.
Just like a wheelbarrow.
I think that's what we'll do.
I asked,
Gnomes, get
I-
together.
I
You
asked,
gotta figure out some way to carry me up there.
I asked
Gnomes.
Mr. Stinky how much he weighs.
It's not polite to
Are
ask
you
a lady
related to
that
Goose?
question.
Chief.
I
Goose?
need Tensor's disc next.
Several
I'm
gnomes.
supposed to ask the lady how much she weighs.
Several gnomes stare up at Stinky in kind of horror,
And
and
amazement.
just like one of them yells, "Scatter!" and they all just like book it,
Okay.
You wouldn't
Bye.
believe how often that happens.
disappearing in alleys and.
I feel
And
like I'm gonna have to get Tensor's disc.
I'm just kind of caught
You're
up in
not
the
more
moment
than
seeing a bunch of
500
gnomes
pounds.
scatter, and I just scatter too instinctively.
Yeah, you have seen it. Devar quickly
It doesn't-
running in and ducking into an alley too, just worried that he might
We missed something.
get
He might
conscripted. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Caught up into
How much
the
gold
middle.
was in there, by the way?
I'm usually
100.
around a bunch of gnomes, and when they
100.
scatter, I just instinctively scatter as well.
Is that on top of the other 100 I found?
Yeah. So 200 total. Yeah.
200 over all of us.
Abel kind of starts ushering you all towards the center of town once again. Yeah, you guys have made quite the impression there. Even old Jorge. He's been
Jorge?
mentioning. Yeah, apparently you guys gave him some work before you left. You should have seen him cursing over his forge just yesterday. It was quite the sight. We all had a good chuckle about it.
Oh yeah. Did he figure out how to?
Yeah, I don't know myself. You'd have to ask him.
What's 4B?
As he's kind of walking and talking to you, you guys do
Cardi B?
make your way towards the center of town. And you can see kind of over where the smith, who has now been affectionately named Jorge, you can kind of see him. It looks like he's off in the corner, kind of looks like he's trying to rebuild his forge. It appears that it might be cracked. He's kind of cursing over it. You see that his beard has very little actually ash and soot in it this time around. It's very kind of a bright orange. Versus last time when you'd been so covered in soot and smoke.
I sneak back and would just avoid him completely.
Okay, you can absolutely avoid him, but he doesn't. He's kind of looking at his forge. You can see that maybe he's got some mortar or something, and he's kind of working on his forge, trying to repair it. His back is turned to you.
I have an idea that the thing that I gave him just blew up his forge.
It could be, yeah.
It's I just walk away.
Okay.
Without saying
Can you
anything.
remind me, what did we give him?
We gave him a gauntlet that was.
Yeah, parts of the.
like an enchanted gauntlet? Or
No, parts of the original constructs that were defeated.
Oh, okay.
So they had some pieces that they gave to him, as well as they allowed him to take the larger defeated unit in the barn itself.
Oh yeah, the one that we booby trapped in there.
Yeah, it got destroyed by a booby trap. Yeah.
He definitely had that coming.
Yeah.
He was messing with
Yeah,
shit.
you had to see that
That
one.
he didn't
I don't
understand.
feel bad for him at all.
Okay.
He's not willing to. Like, are we talking to him?
No.
If you want to, yeah. We're gonna
I-
retcon and say that everybody was together because I can't keep.
Yeah, if you're,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk to him. Yeah, we're just
Yeah,
gonna
no.
tiptoe past.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back to the party now, realizing that I didn't actually have to run.
Yeah. I'm gonna go talk to the. I'm gonna go talk
Yeah.
to the smith.
Me too.
Sure, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, screw you guys.
Yeah.
As you guys approach, the two of you are just approaching.
Yeah.
I'll go with them if they're going.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Yeah, if they're going, I'll go with them.
Okay, are you
How are you
guys?
downing that stuff?
Like this. Gulp, gulp, gulp.
It gets better and better because it's so strong. Once you start
It
to
goes
become
faster and
slightly
faster. Is what you're looking
intoxicated,
for.
once you start to become slightly intoxicated, it's like that.
You gotta shake it a little bit more.
So as you approach,
I'm sorry, this one's better though.
as you approach Jorge,
Hey, I'm not denying that that's a good scotch.
as you approach Jorge,
What's that now?
he kind of
Odd draw.
he turns around as you greet him, and you see kind of a sly grin across his face, and he goes, "Well, some good news and some bad news.
That's strong.
Good news, I was able to make some use out of all that, whatever that metal is. Bad news, I blew my forge out. It's something about this metal. I just can't get my forge hot enough to. I can't get my forge hot enough to work the metal. But I did what I could, and I tried to, just by subtracting the metal that was not in a shape that I could use, I was able to make some stuff." He was more eloquent than just saying make some stuff. Just our
We're gonna retcon that.
Things and things.
Yeah.
I made things and stuff.
That's when I
And he kind of he pulls a little small chest that's just off to the side, a little tucked behind his forge, and he kind of like plops that in front of him, and kind of opens it. I couldn't get as much out of it as I was hoping, but there's some kind of property to this. It seems to prevent my manipulations of it, but I just figured if I could just punch out the shape I needed, I could still get something that works. He kind of unfolds like some cloth that's kind of covering things, and he pulls out kind of two almost like shell pieces. He said, "Oh, these were the shoulder joints," and he kind of like puts them together a little bit. He sees that, and I added a strap here, so I think this is going to work pretty good. And Dee, you're able to see that this
She's
will probably
not there.
fit you pretty well. Oh no, you're not there.
It's just us three, yeah.
But it is a small like a set of it's been fashioned into a set of like a breastplate for a small person.
Okay.
Like small person, like halfling or slender?
No, it's the first one, halfling.
Just check.
What about a slender halfling who also is apparently a midget of the halfling variety?
Wait, what?
Makes him like a quarterling.
A skinny halfling might have trouble. It might be.
It's like
It's a child.
I don't-
He's
So
a
it's like some kid.
he's a halfling.
He's a skinny halfling.
He's a
He would
half
be
halfling,
bulky.
half goblin.
I don't.
He's so tiny.
Oh man!
I'm gonna leave all that.
It might be bulky.
Half halfling, half orc.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I don't even know what is your thing. What is Arnis again?
Human.
No, what is his class?
Wizard.
Wizard fighter.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Fighter
A
wizard.
magic sword.
He also does pull out another thing out of the chest.
I already have.
And it is a scimitar with kind of a wicked gleam to its edge. It seems very sharp.
Not a scimitar.
And he says, and I was able to use a couple more of the scraps, and he kind of pulls out, and he's got 6 arrows out of this. He's like, so it's all I was able to get out of all this metal and material.
I tell him this is all garbage.
I love
What
it.
we need you to do is completely redo everything you've done here. All right, whatever. We'll just take this crappy stuff.
He said, well, I can sell this for a good price. If it's trouble to you, I'll just...
No, it's fine. We'll take this stuff. Do you have?
I'm gonna offer my quarterstaff in trade.
Well, I think we already paid. Did we already pay for it?
There was
We gave him all this stuff.
Yeah. You
And
gave
so
him
he's
all
got a
this-
bunch of
It was
scrap and
scrap.
everything that he
Yeah,
can
so
still
I'm
work
gonna
with.
offer him my.
Presumably, he may have kept
Exquisite.
some things to himself to
Yeah.
sell.
Like what did you? What's the good stuff that you didn't show us?
Show me the goods.
I just kept enough to maintain my profits.
Did you get some sort of like
You trying to scam us?
really robust sled
No,
that I could like sit on maybe?
I didn't get a sled at all. Maybe you. There's a cart right in town you could talk to, perhaps.
Oh, a cart. That might.
That might.
break.
Yes.
You'll just hire
Yeah.
6 gnomes.
All right, thanks. Here, I'll take this stuff off your hands free of charge. And I just grab all the stuff. I think. Didn't you already get a +1 sword?
I do
Last
have a +1 sword.
Yeah, so
it's
that's
fancy.
probably
It's super
her.
potent.
Is she gonna take all? Is this all for her? I don't know. Is it a gnome blade?
Yeah.
Are you a gnome?
Halfling.
Halfling.
But I think it's my
Why is
present
there
for
so many
starting it.
small people? Anyways, so I take this.
Yeah. In theory, I figured.
And I just hand it out to whoever.
Yeah. I think in theory he's probably. Are you gonna take the arrows or?
I
Probably
totally
not.
am taking tensor
Unless-
floating
So
disc.
they're probably plus. Are they?
Yeah.
I don't
They're
use
plus
weapons, so.
Yeah. There's 6.
They're
plus,
basically just
so
plus
6 +1 arrows, a +1 scimitar, and a +1 breastplate.
The breastplate only fits you, really.
Yeah.
So you may as well take that. And then the scimitar. Will you use that?
I mean,
I
is
don't use
there
it.
anybody
On
else
this character, I don't.
who uses a bow right now?
No, nobody else uses a bow.
But I do now have tensor floating disc.
Well, I'll
Do
take-
you
I'll
use
take
a
the arrows.
scimitar?
Well,
I've got
that's
a bow
for
and a
hour.
scimitar. The
Do you have a
scimitar is
+1
short sword.
scimitar?
Nope.
Okay.
Just
Not yet.
Yeah. Now, so you get a +1 breastplate and a +1 scimitar. And you get nothing.
But I have tensor floating disc.
Awesome.
How'd you get that?
Well, I just
So is that +1
because I
to
forgot
attack
to
or
level up.
damage?
Yeah.
Thank
There you go. Yeah. So I'm just gonna follow you around on Death Floating Disc. So I
It's-
went like
it
10
doesn't
feet
say
behind
it
you.
cost me any extra work.
Yeah.
It just is there.
It's 10 feet behind you. All
Yeah,
the
but
time?
it's 10 minutes every
20,
hour
yeah.
to cast for free.
Yeah, that seems.
So when there's hills.
Okay. Yeah. When there's a hills, we have
Going
to take
up
a
the
10
hill
minute
or
break.
down
so
the
that
hill?
can-
It's 20
I-
feet.
I think there's an upper limit though. It's only 400 pounds.
I think it's 500.
Either way, how's Stinky gonna like?
I'm a half elf.
500 pounds.
Yeah. You're gonna
No, I don't think
bottom
I'm over 500 pounds.
You're more
You're gonna
brutally
bottom
honest.
it out.
It's, you don't have to worry about it. Half of it will be just on the ground.
Yeah. And
Half of it
all I
drags.
have to do is like
It's just
lean
like-
on it and then just keep walking. So it's like a
Mildly
walker.
drags.
It's basically what it is. It's a walker. So it just like takes part of my weight.
I feel so young.
Corner drags.
No, I'm just like leaning on it.
So you've been
Whenever
alerted
there's a hill,
that
I'll take the 10 minutes.
the lords of the town probably want to see you within a couple days, as well as there is kind of the festival that the town is holding tomorrow.
Do we have to like are the lords do we have like an inn that we've been to?
Yeah, there is kind
Previously?
of a local inn at the center of town.
What's
You-
the name of the inn?
What did
Doug.
I say?
Steve?
I don't remember the name of the inn.
Frankenfurter.
It is the Rose and Hog.
The Rose and Hog? Okay,
Yeah.
so I suggest we retire to the Rose and Hog. I could use some
Yeah, go ahead.
sustenance.
You recall that several of the town have glowingly always recommended the mead.
At the Rose and Hog?
Yeah.
So we won't be having that.
I am so primed to kill something. So, yeah.
We wanna fight? I was just gonna have a turkey.
Is that a rowdy place?
No, it was not too rowdy the last time you were here. The biggest.
Not
Is
until you get there.
Is there a rowdy
I
place?
want a turkey.
There's
To like eat or
the
to
town
Yeah,
is
like a
in
whole
a joyous
turkey. I need
mood
a
right
turkey.
now. There's
Everyone's
not.
pretty chill.
Yeah, especially with the big festival tomorrow, they're not feeling too
Fair
too
enough, I was
rowdy.
just checking.
He's basically just going around. You want to fight?
You wanna fight? Hey, you.
I've been carrying around a fat guy all day.
And so the tavern's in the middle of the town.
Yeah, so there's
And
a central.
where do we have to go to meet these lords, and who are they? Do we know who they are?
You have not met any of them, no.
I asked this guy who just was in front of us.
Yeah.
Oh, the smith. I'm like, so who are these lords of this town? We're supposed to go meet them. Where do we go to do that? And who are they?
Well, they're the ones who recaptured this village from the giants about 50 or so years back, and he kind of points up to a kind of a log house, a longer looking house that sits up on top of a dam that overlooks the village itself.
So all the giants are dead, though, right?
Yeah.
I'm just checking.
Yeah.
he just really likes fighting things.
Yeah, I want
So,
Yeah,
but
unfortunately.
there's no giants there.
Yeah, no, things have been really safe since you guys were able to stop those bloody constructs.
Why didn't the lords take care of those constructs? I just
We were actually due to move out. The orders came down not long after you guys left. It was just fortunate that you took care of it before we did.
move out, eh? Oh, who are those lords then? How do we know who they are?
Oh, I'm sure you'll.
We just go up to the big hut thing there.
Is there an obvious town hall, temple,
Maybe.
With an arrow at the top.
Yeah, like is there a thing at the top of the
objective.
hill?
He's directed you. He lets you know that is where you would go to presumably meet them.
Is it a temple or like what is it?
It's not a temple. No, it looks a lot like a converted hill giant fortification.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of built on top of like what looks almost like a giant-sized beaver dam, with a larger structure built on top of it, with kind of a little bit of caves tunneling under it.
All right, and so we gotta go there in the next couple of days or whatever.
Yeah,
Should we
yeah.
go there before the festival?
Yeah,
do you want
first
to do
thing
that
in the
now?
Why don't we go carousing? Get
Listen,
some-
I'll
Do
tell
you guys
you.
want to go freshen up or?
Tell you one
Well,
thing
have
for
a
sure.
nap.
Can you ever freshen up?
Well, I didn't ask if I could freshen up.
I'll tell
We
you one thing
push
for
him in
sure.
the river.
Whenever one of the higher ups calls on you, it's never not to send you out on work. So I'd enjoy your time
Well,
off as you can.
I need a couple of days of a solid turkey eating.
Solid turkey.
I'm gonna cancel Tensor's floating dish right in the middle of a river at some point.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, so I suggest we go to the Rose and
I like
Hog.
turkey too. I do like turkey.
So you can't eat.
Not as much as
You
stinky.
cannot eat turkey there. You have to eat hog
I'll make an exception.
with roses, so you know it might cover up your smell.
That's weird.
You have to eat them.
You rubbing it on?
We go to this place.
Yeah.
And
okay.
do we know who the
It's
prior?
rubbing meat on it.
You have not been formally really introduced. You all have had a brief
Roast beef.
association with him. You all did stay here one night on your first time in to the village. Aside from a round of drinks and I think some food, you haven't had too much time in this particular establishment.
Okay, so I walk in.
And see me sitting there with a round of drinks on the table waiting. I
And
didn't
I'm
go to
like,
the blacksmith.
I
went to
like
the-
this girl.
Yeah.
She's really nice.
I totally walk up.
And
I
I
walk 20 feet past the bar. And then come back.
yeah, I go and I sit down. And I like get two chairs. Like put them together.
They creak as heavily as you
Yeah.
lower yourself into them.
Yeah. And so
Sigh.
It's like a bench.
yeah. Or if there's a bench, then I'll take a bench.
You have to use the wall as a back or just.
Yeah.
Can I
so we can
weaken the
widen up.
chairs so they'll slowly just give way?
They're just like they get wet,
I mean,
so
you
the
could,
legs
in
just
theory.
slowly
The legs
spread
just
apart.
Yes.
You
Yes.
may
yeah.
chant the pins
How,
out
Yeah.
of it.
how tall is Stinky? Like, is he
Well, he's
tall?
a half elf,
Like,
so like
he's a big guy.
yeah, he's not small. He's
He's
probably
like
like 6 foot.
6'6",
Yeah, like over 6 foot.
Yeah.
So
He's a big
is there anything else that you guys would like to do kind of before the end of the night?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there an opportunity to buy components for ritual spells?
200 gold worth of oil.
Hash oil?
They don't have that much oil on hand. Yeah, you guys can find enough to
Any
buy.
bit of mischief?
I'm
I
gonna
can
copy
give
some ritual spells.
Okay.
Some
I would like to also
wrongdoings of any sort?
copy.
Pardon me?
You
Some
can copy any
wrongdoings of
spells.
any
You're a
sort?
wizard, right?
Is there a shady crowd
What's
that
that?
might be?
Yes.
Not,
He's
so
doing
you
the
can do
poker
any spell
room
you can
in
call.
back.
Well,
yeah, there's
then I
probably
have
some
access.
poker you can
Okay.
play in the end. You can maybe
Well,
do
any
some
spell
gambling
and
or
a
something
spell
in the
on
end.
this or
The
yeah,
town's
yeah.
on pretty good spirits. No, there's
So
nothing
you
too
can,
shady
you can,
going on. the day
because I
before
have
the festival.
ritual spells in my book. You can,
But I
you can
will.
use
I think I
all
want
my
to
ritual
do. I'm gonna
spells
take
too,
a quick
which I
break
don't
here,
have any of right
and then we'll do the last of kind of what I have planned for the night. All right, welcome back to our second half of our session here. You've all rested up over the night at the inn. The people were very thankful for your help in securing the town, and there's something else here. And as part of kind of the celebrations of the day, everyone's very joyous. They comp you breakfast and your rooms for the night, just out of gratitude for all you've done and in the spirit of the celebration.
I tell them my prayers are with them.
They kindly and respectfully thank you for your well wishes.
I try and get them to buy me more things.
Anything specific?
Yeah, I'd like
3 bars of soap.
Well, more bacon because it's the boar and
No.
Rose and
rose and boar,
Rose and hog.
rose and hog. So
Yeah.
I try and get more bacon.
Okay, yeah, you can make a persuasion roll.
And less rose.
Guidance.
Yeah, guidance,
You got this, bro. You got this.
persuasion.
Yeah.
Go get yourself some bacon.
I want some bacon too.
That's pretty 20.
Yeah, they begrudgingly.
26.
Now the question is, Do you
they
actually
begrudgingly
get bacon?
kind of load you up with a little bit more bacon.
Have some of that bacon.
I take some pocket bacon.
Some pocket bacon.
Yeah,
Um,
I just put it
the
like
cleric that
no
guided you-
napkin or anything, just like.
And it's at this time too,
The cleric that
when you are
guided you
inferring to them that they
wants
should
a piece.
provide you more bacon due to the naming of the bar, they kind of point you up to the sign, which you kind of see. There's one inside hanging over kind of the hearth.
Yeah.
It's clearly a hedgehog holding a rose.
I must say I'm disappointed.
They kind of shrug.
But
at
I
you.
do get the prickly comment, like there's like a hedgehog's kind of prickly and thorns, or
we thought it was really clever.
really might be a stretch, but all right.
Nobody likes clever.
It's actually not a flower. It's just a bunch of hedgehogs arranged nicely beside each other.
Yeah, just in rows.
You could have
This was
really gone
not
with
what I expected.
rose and pork for like porcupine, but it's
Yeah, that could work too. Just Rose and Hog had a real nice ring to it, and I don't know, we liked it.
Rows
That'll be
of
the next one.
hedgehogs. This is not what I expected.
Is named
I like it. It's fine, but
The innkeeper kind of informs you, I was named after my grandmother, named Rose, and she had a great affection for hedgehogs, so it seemed like a natural fit.
the rose and hog.
Yeah.
This is.
Yep.
Thank you for your.
Guidance.
He just pats you on the back. Says, "Enjoy the festival."
Okay, so yeah, is this the festival?
Yeah. So this is.
We go to the festival.
So this is the inn right here. You guys would come down the stairs and have
Okay.
your little breakfast or whatever. And outside, you can see that the main square has been kind of transformed with a large table being brought in, kind of plates and things being kind of set about it. You can also see that there's also several little stalls set up just off
Didn't
camera.
we kill some
Off
of these
camera.
guys?
Yeah, where they've got little kind of games of skill and
Stage left.
chants.
Guidance.
You can see they're setting up a little bit of like kind of a stage area right in front of the main warehouse in the center of town.
I go invisible.
Where should we go? Where do we come in?
Well, this is the inn.
Okay.
We go
Yeah.
out.
So, and this is like what a common table or
Yeah, it's like
It's
one.
like outside.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This is all the kind of main center of their market square kind of
Does
thing.
there appear to be anybody of import?
No, nobody of particularly import. You see several commoners and peasants. A few people kind of dressed in like a makeshift militia, almost uniform. It's still kind of something they've obviously put together themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a formal uniform, but you can see there's several like militia members of that would be of the town.
Okay.
You can see that a couple of town members are kind of have daggers at their side now since the last time you visited. They
Do they
don't look like
wary?
they're a little bit more relaxed, but you can tell just because of the attacks of the constructs, like they don't these daggers that they're wearing don't look. These people don't look prepared for combat. It seems like more of a.
But it's not us that they seem to be.
No, they're actually very friendly and welcoming
And,
towards all of
everybody's
you.
like talking to us and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Yeah, everybody's very friendly today, being just kind of the anniversary of their town, as well as now it's freedom from constructs.
I spend 10 gold buying drinks for my party.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
Yeah.
First
dude.
thing in the morning.
So,
Yeah, dude.
con saves all around, I guess.
Yeah. We are getting drunk.
No, you don't need a con save for one drink.
20 gold worth of booze?
Well, 10 gold. But
10
still, that's a
gold
lot
worth
of
of
drinks.
booze?
That should be a lot of drinks.
One pint is 4 silver.
I don't know what the conversion rate is.
One pint is 4 silver.
One pint is 4 silver.
Trust me, I've done this
So
with Armin
that's
many
100
times.
gold. So
No, you said 10 gold, right?
Yeah, so 100 silver.
Oh, okay, yeah, 100 silver. Yeah.
So
divide by 4,
50.
25 drinks, right?
Yeah,
25
so that's
drinks.
a few drinks each. Alright.
So, what, and then 25 divided by 6?
Yeah.
No, you said 10, right?
10 gold.
Is it 10 silver to 1 gold?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. 25 then.
Yeah.
So everybody gets 5 drinks, and you'll top off a little into a smaller cup for Dee Dee. So everybody will be able to just like pour a little bit off with one of their
5
cups.
drinks each.
There you go. Yeah, you're able to get a plethora of drinks. They roll out like a little bit of a mini keg of their mead. It's actually the specialty in this part of the land.
Excellent.
And a kind of rounded cups. So you can kind of carry around this little keg. And just get your party members.
Yeah,
just
like Constitution.
yeah, just get on your knees and just pour the keg into their mouth. Yeah.
I cast Mage Atma.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so
I'm like passed out at this point.
are there any actual like games and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. There are games.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna go check those out.
Hey, yeah. I tap. Oh, I forgot his name again. Our
Alvo?
rogue gnome friend on the shoulder, and
Rogue gnome.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Devar.
And Devar. There we
I
go.
had forgotten about him too.
I just
Just imagine, sorry.
You're
Just
forced.
imagine
right?
you scatter with all the other
I
names.
pull him into a corner and I just go invisible, and tell him that
You've
let's
always
go.
loved him.
No, let's go play some games.
Okay.
Wait. What? You made him invisible?
No, I made me invisible.
And then ask a small person to play games.
Yes,
Don't worry, we
because
don't.
sometimes you have to reach.
Yeah, it's not sexual.
Yeah, the SWAT knocks down the door. Like,
I'm just
I'm
saying.
called Big Rich.
That sounds weird. By all
Didn't
means,
intend it.
you do you.
Yeah, you're able to make your way over towards kind of. They've got several booths.
He's
There's a
an
couple
elf.
different games they've got set up. You can see one where they've got kind of like these bright orange baskets, kind of painted with little like flames coming on the top of them. And you gotta. It seems like they're getting people to toss like little kind of goblin plushies at these like flaming barrels that they've painted up, to try to get one inside. They've got another kind of game where it's kind of got a platform, a very thin, narrow platform, and it looks like you try to cross this platform while the attendants kind of hurl these like white plush abominable snowmen at people. There's a couple other games of skill and chance. Is there any kind of particular game you're looking for?
I message him. Let's go over to the plush thing that you throw at the flaming basket thing. And I'll just bounce it up if
Okay.
you miss. Yeah.
Okay.
You're hooking them up.
I'm gonna go with them. Or with
Sure,
them.
absolutely. So the two of you are able to approach kind of an older-looking fellow, and he welcomes you. Welcome. Just 5 gold to try. If you can throw 3,
This is freaking
5 gold.
steep.
if you can get 3 goblins in the basket, you'll triple
seems
your
easy.
triple your money.
Oh,
It seems really easy.
Yeah.
Guidance.
What are we doing?
I am sitting while they're doing this. We'll wait.
I mean,
Let them play
I
their
also
game.
have an
and then we can-
invisible mage hand, so I feel like
invisible mage hand. You,
You
have to
might
make
be
like
able.
a sleight
You
of
have to.
hand
Yeah,
check.
you would still. You'd be doing it in front of him, so he might be able to catch.
Unless you're just unless you're doing
Well,
it.
you're
Yeah,
invisible.
yeah, I'm invisible.
You're just
I'm
like taking the thing. Like as he throws it, he's just moving it into the basket, like physically.
Okay.
I like we're just like robbing.
Yeah, we're dense, man.
Okay. So as he explains the game, yeah. So all you have to do is we give you these 3 goblin plushies. You've got to throw them into the basket. The first time you destroy, and then it starts getting a little bit more difficult.
I'm just gonna retcon one thing.
Like a Build-A-Bear.
I'm just gonna disguise myself as like a child.
Do you have a disguise self or something? Okay. So it's a DC. Okay. Okay.
They'd have to have a reason to inspect it too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It says, okay, there, small child. If your guardian there,
That's
do you
me.
look like a small dwarf or just?
Well, just a small child, because you figure I can't make myself that much bigger.
No. But what race of child? I guess.
A
is the
small
question.
human child.
I've never seen a dwarf and a human child before, but if you're convinced you're.
I'm an asummer.
Oh, sorry, right.
Oh, well,
He's not.
I've never seen an Aesomer and.
Oh, my other character's
Listen, you all are your races will be decided.
As
Can I
just-
I tell the story.
Can I make up some story about how he's not my parents and he took me?
Are you trying? Okay,
How about
yeah,
you join the clergy?
yeah. Okay, so you can make a deception
I miss
check.
mommy and daddy.
You can make a deception check.
Okay.
Guidance.
Everything's just about to go to shit.
Yeah, you had a plan and then you let us loose. Well,
Yep.
Deception?
Yeah, you can make a deception roll.
I knock over one of the baskets so he doesn't hear half the story.
That'll be 15.
A 15.
You'd use guidance on there?
If you want to use
Guidance on all the things.
You see his
16.
expression go very serious, and he looks at you. Do you need help, little child? We can call the militia if this.
Are you with us?
I'm not anywhere fucking near you guys. You guys were walking.
Yeah.
yeah, I went with Big Rich.
That was you 3.
And
He's but he is addressing you directly.
No. Should we do I...
Is it advantageous to make the town hostile to my party? What did we learn?
Yeah, what
I
do
mean,
we-
Wow, XP!
I would like to just see him, get fucked around with for a bit. He's too much of a goody good.
Okay, so what are you going to tell him? Are you telling this guy that you have been kidnapped by this Aesomer?
By your healer.
Sup?
I guess I won't
Spell.
pursue it now.
Product.
It may be ill.
If you want to do it, go for
Yeah,
it.
No. I really.
Just rip off the poor townspeople of their 15
Yeah,
gold with
let's
your
do that.
shenanigans.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have a saying for this kind of thing, and it's called no unforeseen consequences.
Yeah. I can't see what could possibly go wrong.
No. Making the town hostile towards you? Go ahead. Okay, yeah, absolutely. So he explains quickly to the game to you. It seems like these barrels are a bit on a track, and they require you to. The first one, the barrel isn't going to move. You just got to toss it in. And then the second one, he's going to start cranking a little wheel, which will send the barrel moving back and forth, and then again quicker.
We should.
So I assume somebody's paying your 5 gold entry fee there.
Yeah,
Not entry fee, but
yeah, I'll have it.
okay.
There's like a wild
Child pulls out 5 gold.
We don't need to question all the details.
So I will give advantage on all your rolls because he's going to be helping.
Okay.
With guidance.
That's the only way I see. Yeah, that's how I see this working with guidance. Because
Why not?
why not? So the
Dex,
first
I assume?
one. Pardon me?
Dex?
Yeah, it's going to be just a simple Dex attack roll.
Oh, attack roll.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that-
jerk, I'd say.
So
improvised
whatever
weapon.
your attack roll. Yeah, plus.
Plus 2 for proficiency. So 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, 18.
Yeah. 18 plus 3 plus 5. So.
Yeah, you're able to very easily just toss the goblin. It just kind of does a little spiral. You don't even really have to. Big Rich doesn't have to do anything to even help it, but you do hold your hand just for a second to guide it in. I'll have you make a stealth roll with advantage too.
Okay.
As
Oh, that's good. 19.
19. As the owner of the stall is going to chuckle. Oh, that's a good throw there, little one. And he's going to start cranking this wheel, and the barrel's going to start moving back and forth. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
Who's attacking what?
Guidance.
We're attacking a basket. With a goblin.
That'll be.
Another bottle.
13.
Oh, this is the
13.
bottle.
Yeah.
Elevated.
This time, that was with advantage
Yeah.
and guidance.
I rolled a 4 and a 4, and I get a plus 5. So.
This time, it almost looks like it's going to go in, and Rich just kind of is guiding it, but just at the last minute, it kind of hits the corner of the barrel, and rather than tumbling in, it kind of tumbles out. And a hearty laugh. Oh, don't worry there, child. Better luck next time, yeah. Alright, you can always try again if you'd like.
I'm going to try again.
Okay, you're going to shovel out.
Guidance.
Yeah.
So he centers the barrel again, holding it still for you for your
Sort of
first shot.
hold.
The finest guards.
It's fine.
Yeah. The first one's the same roll.
Okay, that one's no problem.
Yeah,
You're
you
easily
load
able to sink it in the first time.
It's way
Second one.
Oh, you use now.
Yeah, same roll. So 18, 4, 5.
The second time you've got a little bit better beat on this tracking, and Rich doesn't even need to assist you as you're able to sink the second one. And he kind of says, "All right, here's the real test," and he starts giving it a good crank, and it starts moving back and forth much more rapidly.
That'll be 24.
24, yeah. And this time you've really got it down pat, and you just hurl it straight and hard, and it kind of hits the back of it, bounces out for a second before it kind of hits the end of its track and comes back to land right in again. It's quite a spectacular shot. And he goes, "Oh man, I've never seen a goblin toss played so well before." Here, and he kind of dishes out. He gives you kind of 20 gold total, and you've spent 10, so you're up 10. And he goes, "You know what? You done such a good job, little one. Here," and he gives you one of the goblin toys to keep for yourself.
Nice.
I spend another 5 gold for 10 drinks between us.
Are you with us still?
No, I'm heading for the balance beam thing.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Sure, absolutely. Do you wanna approach one of the vendors as well?
Yeah.
Is this after us, or is it the same time?
I just
kinda?
spent another.
Yeah, it would be probably about the same time as you guys do.
Yeah.
So as you approach this vendor, there's a very narrow kind of platform.
Yeah, I've already got
There's a very narrow platform that kind of extends between, like a little beam between two spots, and kind of some softer, loose earth kind of just below it, so that you wouldn't get too hurt. And they explain to you, it's really simple. All you got to do is make it from one end of the beam to the other. While we huck these little yetis at you. And if you're able to make it the whole way, well, you'll win yourself some money as well. Same as everything else here. It's 5 gold to try, and you can win yourself 15.
All right, let's do this. Low center of gravity and little feet.
Oh, that's right, yeah. It will be slightly easier for you because you are a smaller target. So as you set yourself up along the entrance of the beam, they say, "All right, get ready," and kind of 3 of the attendants kind of line themselves up along perpendicular to your path.
Right.
And they say, "All right, go!" And you're able to start traversing. I'd like you to make an acrobatics check.
10.
10, okay. Staying on the beam isn't too difficult, but the first attendant is going to line up and start hurling a plushie at you. You're not too unbalanced, you're a little unsteady, but this one's going to sail right over your head, and you're gonna. Dee Dee's gonna maybe crack a little chuckle as she easily ducks under it. You start making your way towards the center of the beam. Can I get you to go ahead and make another
19.
19. You're even more. You found your feet. You're really steady on this. As a second Yeti gets hurled at you. But again, this one you actually kind of like hop over because he's thrown it too low. You make your way kind of to the last third of the beam. Make a acrobatics.
21.
21. You actually do a little bit of a pirouette, taking time. This is almost second nature to you. And these attendants are clearly either they're pulling their shots or they just really were unprepared for these games and they can't. It's just not even close. It kind of hits more towards the middle of the bridge, and they kind of look at each other and like rethink their like game of how they're planning to make money.
Oh, come on, guys. I know we're the heroes and all, but you could really make a bit of an effort.
They kind of sheepishly give you your 15, your total 20 gold, so you'd be, I don't know, 15 gold or 20 gold, whatever. It's a number. And they are actually going to be so embarrassed that they will as well give you a little plushie to and then kindly say, maybe don't tell anyone else to come here for a minute. We might need to rethink this.
Arnis and I are sitting at a table much like this.
Yeah, we've switched to cheap scotch at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we're, and I am regaling them with tales of how our group
Pauses every 3 words.
extra long, uncomfortable pauses
Yeah,
about how we destroyed the golems.
One
and
of the small
constructs.
children sitting nearby falls asleep during your story.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. But I tell them, I'm like, and I'm going on, and we're this is an amazing story, and I tell them, and I say at the very end, I'm like, and this was all carried out by the strangers. That's our group name.
The strangers.
A couple villagers maybe edge slightly away from you.
Yeah, no, that's what I want. Yeah.
Can I say something mean
I
in
go
a
ahead
child's
and
voice
use.
to
I
him?
go ahead. And
You're
use
not
it.
there. You're. This is happening.
Damn.
I named the group while you guys were away.
I
It's a bad
cast
idea.
Tensor's floating disc, kind of on an angle,
Yeah.
as a backrest.
Yeah, so I can
For
like
the two
lean
of
against
us.
as I'm telling this story,
Yeah.
and I've got a pipe out
I
now.
fully take a
Yeah.
spell slot to do that.
Yeah, so we're the strangers,
Guidance.
as according to the townsfolk, we're called the strangers.
See how that rumor spreads?
Yeah, do I have to make a performance or a persuasion?
Yeah, you can
or
make a performance check.
Guidance.
Sure,
performance?
absolutely.
Okay, I cast guidance on myself because nobody else
Yeah.
is here.
That's right, you came with us.
I thought we'd mosey over back. by
Well,
now.
let's solve at the same time.
Plus 4 is 16, so that's pretty good.
It wasn't enough for the children to stay entertained, but a couple of the townsfolk are kind of, they turn an ear.
Yeah, and that's it. So I'm just trying to like get the stranger name out there. Our symbol is like this S. That's like it's like yellow and red, and it's just like in this like little triangle like this, and
Triangle,
yeah, and
what's
it's like
triangle?
got like a S kind of like squiggled through the triangle,
Triangle pointing up, pointing down.
pointing down.
Is it equilateral?
Yeah. It's like this with the S just in the middle.
It's
in
equilateral
red,
triangle.
red,
Yeah.
blue.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
And
got. It's
yellow.
almost like a triangle. It's got like it's flat up here.
Yeah, but it's got like
Cut
a
the
little like
corners.
cut
It's
off.
like a
and-
diamond.
Yeah, more like a diamond. Yeah, like a
Yeah.
princess cut diamond
Yeah.
on it on its profile.
In
Yeah.
other news of how TBD got you are able to kind of
Came from
enjoy much of the afternoon and what's
And
left
I'm
of the morning.
prestidigitating Prestidigitating that symbol out.
having playing several games and having kind of a bit of a lunch in the afternoon. It's as towards the evening when the townsfolk begin to gather kind of in the center mass of town again. You can see there's a little bit of an impromptu stage kind of setting up. A couple people have like a set of small drums. Somebody's got a lute up front, and somebody else has got another instrument that would be appropriate.
A lyre.
Pan flute.
A pan flute.
A banjo?
Nose flute.
Almost said anyway.
A skin flute?
And it's at this time that the whole kind of town is starting to gather around the center market, around the table and the kind of this impromptu stage. It seems like the kind of the centerpiece of their celebration is about to begin. You all kind of convene somewhere in the middle, kind of anticipating what could be coming next.
I hide under the table.
Sure. You probably meet another small child there playing a game of hide and seek while bored waiting for the
Guidance.
festivals.
Can I go around drinking like a son of a bitch, but still disguised as a child?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes, you can.
You do catch several awkward glances, and one kind of older woman does kind of chase you away from behind her house, cursing those damn kids.
Were we hanging out behind her house having smokes too?
I don't know.
Yes.
Things just got way too out of hand. And it's kind of at this time that you guys are all gathered once again in the center of town. You see several of the townsfolk that you have recognized and several you've never seen before all gathered here. As somebody you do not know makes his way towards the center of this kind of impromptu troupe. Welcoming everyone. Thank you for joining our celebration of the founding of our town. We'd like to thank to everyone for being here and just have a great time. Enjoy the festivities. Drink till you're merry.
I cheers.
And nobody and the whole town kind of all in a
To the
uproar.
strangers! To the strangers!
To the who?
He has no idea what you're talking
Can I
about.
cheers him with the strangest thing, but still as a child?
Yeah.
To the strangers.
You do get a scowl, and somebody does say, "I hope that's just apple cider."
It isn't. It's a
I'm gonna
whiskey.
say just something like really rude, like mind your own goddamn business, you old son of a bitch.
You feel a sharp rap on your bottom. It kind of sends you a little jump, and you decide to find a slightly different person to sit next to.
Harder, Daddy.
Oh, please.
Yeah, no, that's
man.
more my reaction.
D&D ERP.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway.
I'm not gonna let him win. That's the thing. He can
Um,
smack my ass, but he's not getting away with it. You know what I mean?
It's at this time that the band, kind of in the center of the back, begins kind of their performance. A bit of a jaunty tune, kind of a nice uplifting, nice uplifting harmony. But the lyrics themselves are a bit more foreboding. The singer seems to be singing about perhaps a bad moon rising, and that there could be trouble on the rise. But they seem to take...
Little CCR. I mean...
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, we're just in a traveling band.
I'm trying to think of another CCR, what else CCR could be, but it's not coming.
CC radio.
CC.
It's at this time that several of the kind of towns members begin dancing and enjoying themselves, moving about the center.
I'm still hiding under the table.
I've wasted a spell slot, so.
Whoa. I was purposely not trying to get us content ID flagged.
I did a very brief...
We only get 30 seconds. We can't.
Yeah, that was not 30 seconds.
We can-
that was
I feel
not
like you
30
know in
seconds.
25
We
seconds.
cannot afford the licensing fees.
Happy
No,
the
it's
second
not.
one is.
It's
the first
funny.
one isn't.
The birthday song
It's
is.
funny that it's
You're not allowed to
still.
use. I work in a restaurant. They're not
Copyrighted.
allowed to sing the real birthday song.
Yeah, it's still copyrighted.
Really?
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Which is good for the guy that made it.
Yeah, he's probably made a bunch.
Good job on the guy who made it. Good job, guy who made it.
And,
This week on Why We're Not
it's-
Sponsored.
As the townsfolk kind of continue their dancing, and this particular song winds to an end, one of the center performers again takes the moment to speak to the audience again, and it's time once again for everyone's favorite. We tell the tale of our town, and you hear several like hoots and hollers, kind of coming from the crowd. Maybe a couple of shouts or requests like "Tell the one about the bloodbath" or "Tell the one about the castle." Several requests being shouted out, and it is as kind of the evening is growing dark, kind of the sun is setting on this day, and the performer kind of chuckles to himself, and he begins to speak again, only to be cut off by kind of a loud cackling laughter. My revenge! As suddenly a fireball comes plummeting out of the sky, exploding kind of right here, sending these two flying down.
What?
This starts
cast a
burning. I'll
Do we
have
know who it is?
everybody roll initiative. You will find out real soon.
I'm under the table.
That is right.
You can't beat me.
You can't beat me.
You
You
can't
got
beat
nothing on me, boy.
No, I think you probably.
Has to be back up.
Okay, so who is above 20?
Me.
Anybody?
21.
21? Anybody above 15?
18.
18.
Hey, roll off.
Darnus, which one are you?
Oh, you guys just get to choose.
Hold on, that was cocked.
You win.
Yeah, I did.
No, you should win.
Bless. Wait.
Oops,
Whether
sorry,
or
which
not
one did you
that's
guys
the
decide?
case, I did not.
Who's going first?
You just
Eric.
get to choose.
And then me.
Okay.
You get to choose.
Who is
Roll off.
after?
Yeah.
You do. You still get to choose.
Who's after above
Derek
a
wins.
10? Who's above a 10?
I got an 11 this time.
Whoa.
What?
Okay. Didi and Tyrael, what do you guys have?
Raise
Fine.
the
7.
roof.
7. Okay.
Rizzies.
All right.
Where is it?
Just by the kind of sheer chaos that suddenly erupts, you are all just completely stunned for a moment as this fireball takes effect. Fire kind of bursting up around the front end of the inn, and the entrance kind of collapsing in upon itself.
What?
It is at this time that you look up.
Where are we?
I don't know. Where are you guys?
We're all right here.
Oh.
I think me and
run.
Me and Arnis are
just
definitely
saw-
at the
We're already
table.
right.
Yes, you're definitely at the
Coming
table.
our way.
Where are you guys?
I just saw his
Yeah.
thing.
I'll be at this side at the table. Anywhere.
This is you, yeah?
Yep.
Over here?
Yep.
Is everybody at the
where's
table?
Big
Where
Rich?
are you guys?
Probably
I'm under the
over
table.
here somewhere.
Yeah,
no,
everybody is
probably
listening
on
to
the other
Tales
side.
of the Strangers.
I'm beside Stinky.
Where are you gonna be?
Probably with
I
me.
was
You
drinking
are,
with
you're so
Stinky and-
close to me.
Yeah, dude,
But
we're drinking.
remember, I'm still
Yeah,
disguised.
it doesn't
as a
even
child.
matter
We're
anymore.
getting drunk.
And you are, where are you? Over here?
I was probably keeping an eye on him, making sure he wasn't,
Over here somewhere?
doing anything antisocial.
How do you create a poll?
I don't know. I don't know how you actually ask a question.
Well, you talk real sweetly to me.
You just hit the plus.
Your eyes are all drawn up again to kind of the top of the warehouse, where kind of backlit by arcane energy, you see the same necromancer who you had just defeated only a few days ago, as he cackles and howls wildly. You broke the contract, and now you shall feel my revenge, as he hurls again another fireball down upon the town just below him, exploding in fire.
Can we?
There was no contract, but okay.
He is convinced that there is or was a contract.
So everything's on fire?
Yeah,
And
everything
he's killing
is.
people?
I'm still just drinking.
Are all those people dead?
Is this a part of the show?
You must know that this is saddening me.
Yeah.
It's a part of the show, right?
Yes, it's how the town began.
Yeah.
With fire.
In the before times.
Yeah. In the before times.
I'll be a little bit of fire over here too. This is all just fire. There's fire everywhere.
And not a drop to drink.
This guy's a pretty strong caster. He can.
He seems completely unhinged, and
Okay.
however, when you look at him, he looks far more fragile. It seems like he's only just recently reconstituted himself. He seems.
Somebody
Can I
help
take
us.
this guy's heart?
Let's do it.
It is at this time that, after this second fireball has crashed down upon the city, screams of terror and smoke all over the place. Big Rich, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna cast a chromatic orb at him.
Where is this bad guy? Is it that guy right there?
He's actually standing on top of
I
the
needed to do it while you were talking.
warehouse right here, floating just right above
How
here.
far? I can hit. It was like
absolutely you could hit
60 something.
What'd you get to?
So it was 16.
You hit.
That's pretty good. 16 damage as well.
Okay, what kind of damage?
It is lightning.
Lightning? Okay. As he is just hurling his head back, kind of arms in the air, just entirely engrossed in his maniacal laughter, only to look down in horror and shock as this lightning bolt just passes right through him, disintegrating his heart, or what is just barely reconstituted enough to be called a heart. And his frame kind of shudders, and scorched bones fly off, exploding in different directions. And there's nothing left of him.
He's dead?
Yeah, Davar, what would you like to do?
Drink a little bit more.
Sure, yeah, you're able to drink a little bit more. You take a big swig. Make a Constitution saving throw. You've been drinking for a while now.
6.
6. You are considered poisoned.
Awesome.
Oh, is it? Oh, nice. That's a good one.
Are you near me?
Yeah.
Arnis, what would you like to do as this town roars into fire all around you?
I stand up and I'm like, what the? And I cast False Life.
Okay, you're able to do so.
What is it?
Stinky, what would you like to do? Everything is, there's
1d4 plus
chaos, thick smoke, the smell of kind of scorched flesh.
Extra life.
Permeating.
Do I think
It's what
Not really.
It's what I would do. 6.
I feel like that wasn't the real threat, so I would like to. I don't know if it's an action or a bonus action, just to be like, oh, what the fuck, and look around.
Yeah, you can make a perception roll.
Are you near me? Guidance?
I can guidance
Oh, wait, we're
myself.
in
Yeah, we're in initiative.
Yeah, I won't guidance myself because that's an action.
Yeah.
I definitely.
Yeah, so I rolled a 10.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah, you see, as you look across the yard, you see that the front end of the inn and the only perceived entrance has collapsed and is burning. You recall that there were several patrons inside. You see that several of these villagers are grievously wounded. You can't tell if they are dead or unconscious. But the fire does seem to be spreading through bits of exploded like crates.
But I don't
sawdust
see
on the ground.
another threat.
You don't see any physical enemies, no.
Yeah, like a dude that, like I saw that guy get blasted.
You don't see who
Yeah.
started this shit.
Well, no, it was the dude that guy who he killed started the shit.
He just
but,
got blasted away.
We didn't start the fire.
Yeah.
It's always burning.
We didn't start the fire.
Since
We
we're
didn't
burning.
light it.
But we're gonna fight it.
Yeah. I guess like I'll just spend my turn trying to like cast prestidigitation to like snuff small campfire sized flames out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say you make, you snuff out a few embers on this side.
Yeah, like I'm just trying to I'm just like, I don't really think that I'm on the bucket brigade, But I'll use my magic to help out.
Where I'm pumped. I'm like,
Didi, what would you like to do?
Yeah.
let's do this.
I am
Yeah.
going to move
I'm about
5
to run
spaces
into
towards
fucking
me,
fire.
Yep.
please.
If I see something, then I will.
Do the
But
same
I
thing, trying to put out whatever
No,
fires
I'll-
that I can
cast from
on my way towards the end.
station. I'll
What
follow
happened to
you
my-
because
oh,
I'm
yeah,
on
yeah,
your tensor's disc. Wherever you run, I just have to follow.
Where was this thing?
You said you just cast tensor's disc, and I'm sitting on it. So
So
go wherever
Didi
you
is
go.
not passing. The fires are kind of over here, so I don't like. There's not a way you can.
No, but any little sparks or
Sure,
anything.
absolutely. Yeah, you.
Yeah, I'm just kind of heading toward these guys.
You kick out a few kind of pieces of just slightly embering and burning crates that kind of shrapnel that had been kind of exploded a little farther out.
And I want to hold my action to shoot if I see anything that I feel is threatening us.
Sure, Tyrael, what would you like to do?
Crawl out from underneath the table.
Which one are you?
I'm the not Armin.
Okay, yeah. Which side are you crawling out on? One side is kind of fiery.
Yeah, the side that's kind of fiery.
Okay, on this side?
Yeah, I'll try to avoid the fire as best I could.
Okay, it will be hard.
Okay, well then maybe I'll climb up on top of the table.
Sure, yeah, you
and
can climb up
head
on
to the
top.
nearest person and just spare the dying on them.
So these guys there's still kind of fire all around them. So you can make it to probably this guy right here. He doesn't look like he'd be. You're able to cast Spare the Dying on him. There's still kind of fire around him,
Yeah, and I'll...
but he is stabilized.
Yeah, stabilize. I'll try to pull him out of the fire. Kind of on top
Spare
of
the Dying is
table.
an action, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
So I can't really do both. Bonus action. I can do a slotted bonus action. If I got it. Yeah, that's it, I guess. I'll just... I can't really cast and do.
Okay.
So, yeah, spare the dying. Blah.
He does begin to breathe a bit easier now. His wounds stop kind of seeping blood anymore. He does seem a little bit better off, but he's still surrounded by fire. Okay.
He's breathing easier, but he's also breathing in more smoke.
That's okay.
So at this
I
time,
can
the
stabilize them all.
fire begins to spread.
Now, we're outside, right?
Of the fire, yeah. And
No,
physically.
I mean
Outside
out.
physically.
But yeah,
we're
we're
in
at
open air.
outdoors.
We're at a large communal big table.
Yeah, okay.
Table flip the whole thing. Ah!
It's big. And you're lazy. Just saying.
Table flip a goblet.
I'm not trying to pick on you. Just saying.
Just saying.
Like I said, I'm on your tensor's disc, so if you move, I have to literally follow 10 feet behind you.
Yeah. 20, but yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, if you get more than 20 feet away, I follow you.
Are you still laying on it?
Well, it's like, you know how, like, the Cheshire cat, like, lounges in the tree? That's kind of like...
Yeah.
Or, not the Cheshire cat, the caterpillar. The
Oh.
hookah smoking caterpillar in...
Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Or through the looking glass.
Or whatever, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, is I actually have a hookah.
Hookah brother up.
No.
1, 2,
That's
3,
mine.
4, 5.
Like Stinky has a hookah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not down. Stinky.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan does not have
Dan just has a crack pipe.
Yeah, Dan just has
Yeah.
a regular pipe. It's not for sharing.
Yeah, it's for sharing, but...
As
First
the
time
fire begins to kind of spread, you hear more screams coming from the inn. Several of the villagers kind of violently twitch as a bit of the fire kind of creeps a little closer to them, singeing their skin and their flesh. It's kind of a chaotic scene with a horrible stench of like burning hair seems to permeate the area. Big Rich, what would you like to do?
Plug my nose.
So I don't see any immediate threats right now.
You don't see any physical enemies, no.
What are those dice representing?
Failed saves.
Okay.
Oh, so people are dying. Okay.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Chromatic or cold? I
Okay.
don't know if this will work, but I'm just gonna try and put the fire out as much as I can, right in front of me as well.
Whereabouts are you?
I don't know. I'm
Right here?
there.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
I literally
So, like,
only can.
So
Trying
make,
to make a way so that we can pull people out.
Yeah, make an attack roll for me. I want to know how accurate you are with your shot.
That's okay. That's 13.
13, okay. Yeah, you're reasonably accurate. Now roll damage for me, too.
I gotta attack the fire.
9 damage.
9 damage?
Eldritch blast the fire. I assume it takes away all the oxygen.
Eldritch blast?
Well, Stinky's Eldritch blast
Oh.
takes away all the oxygen.
You kind of blast your chromatic orb kind of deep into the heart of it, clearing out a little bit of a path, parting the fire in front of you.
This fire situation.
As the cold
Probably.
kind of explodes and condensates onto the fire, dampening it for a few.
Okay.
Devar, what would you like to do?
I'm saying this in my least persuasive voice. We must save all the village people. We have to react immediately to save all the village people.
Is there a place they
Where's
can
the
go?
fireman?
The young men?
Just
And
go
the short
grab
window?
them. It's open now.
We must
So here's what I'll
save
do.
all the village people, and I'm not
'Cause
making
I'm not
any effort. to do
Terribly enthused about this. I don't really
it.
care.
Everybody,
I know
we must
prestidigitation. I can
save the
snuff a little
people
bit
of
of
this
flame.
village.
Yeah.
You
That's all I'm
guys.
doing.
Hey, you guys.
Sure, is there any particular-
You guys.
Let's go right around there.
Right around here somewhere?
Yeah.
Sure, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're able to snuff out a little bit of the fire.
And I'll sip a beer, and that's my turn.
Sure. Arnis, what would you like to do?
Yeah, so I would like to, and I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna cast Absorb Elements.
Okay.
Now, technically, it says capture some of the incoming energy, lessening its effects on you and storing it for your next melee attack.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna cast that, and then I'm going to run into any fire that is within range of me.
Oh my god.
This is you.
So he's not gonna avoid it.
over
He's
here.
gonna go into it.
Into it.
Okay.
Freaking Zarya over here.
It's a few drinks in.
Yeah.
It's more than a
This
few.
is what happens when you play a
20
wizard
feet
with a couple
behind
of
me.
glasses of scotch.
Is stinky.
Okay.
I can follow you.
Oh,
So you're going to take only
Uh,
1 damage.
Okay.
So you're running into
10,
here.
15, 20. I'm at the out.
Yeah,
Fire.
I straight up pumped up the last turn. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
false life, and now I'm running into fire.
I like it.
So Arnis leaps off and over the table, dropping himself into the center of the flames, kind of with a flurry of his cloak. A magical essence seems to pull it into himself, slightly singeing your skin.
Do that
Yep.
before.
But you are able to kind of suck all the flame into yourself and store it for a moment, dampening the area right around here.
Hurts a bit.
Stinky, what would
You
you like to do?
burn, don't lie.
Is there like any 10-pound casks of beer, specifically beer? that I can
Yeah,
see?
there's probably a cask of beer on the table.
Okay, I just mage hand that shit and smash it at
Shake it up.
part of the.
It's
Oh
white wine.
yeah, I shake it as it goes. I give it to the stranger on the way over.
Okay.
Foam it
And
up.
hurl it?
Spray it. Spray
What's
that?
that?
You make make an attack roll. See how.
Is that a spell attack roll?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I figured it would be.
I
That's
want
why I
more of a general idea of how accurate you are, rather than actually.
Okay. With my spell attack,
Yeah.
it's a 10.
It's a 10. Okay.
Yeah.
You are able to hurl it over here, fine.
Yeah.
Though you're a little bit off with your aim.
Yeah, so it doesn't do as much as I maybe thought it would.
Yeah.
But it's like it's compressed now, so it's like exploding out.
Yeah, it does
right?
spray kind of over this area. You
Yeah,
don't hit
yeah.
everything. You do put out a little bit of the fire.
Yeah.
Dee Dee, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna keep running towards these
Oh
guys.
shit! I got
Sure.
this.
5 movement.
I can save
5,
all of
10.
them
No,
at
wrong
once.
guy. I'm the little silver one.
Oh. This guy here?
What's
Yep,
save?
right
Restore to more than 1 hit
5,
point.
10,
Oh, yeah.
15.
What do you got?
Okay, I'm
Freaking
gonna
channel divinity.
If you go into the fire, you
that's
can
good.
kind of get
Well,
both
it'll
of them. I
save
don't know
for like
what you
one
want to do.
turn. Yeah.
Well, I just did a spare the dying. I'm like, well,
You are beside
we're
one
not
of
going
them
to be able
right
to grab
now.
everybody
No,
out.
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
I
I
just
think
wanna
that's a
get
good.
rid
I
of
think it's
fire.
good, man. I think it's good.
Okay,
Give
yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
1 hit point, then they're
So, yeah,
back
go ahead and
at
make an
death
attack roll.
saves are at 0.
With what?
Just your normal attack roll kind of thing.
Well, that's an 11.
I
Straight.
never realized there's a
Okay, yeah, and
behind
then
your bathroom.
Strength is
As
plus
well
yeah.
as
2.
beside your bathroom.
That's
roll,
the dead
just
body
roll
room.
your regular
There's
D8
so much.
damage,
I mean,
and
it's
add your
not
normal
the dead
modifier.
5.
It's the
Wow,
very
okay.
much alive body.
Yeah,
room.
there's
dead
no-
body.
It's able
I don't know if
to
that's better.
start
There's
stamping
no
out the
dead
fire
or
right
alive
around
bodies
you.
back there.
Okay.
No bodies.
This person is
Which
no
roll?
longer immediately
Make
kind
it.
of surrounded by fire.
Okay.
Tyrael, this guy is effectively. I'm just going to remove him because you have stabilized him and there's no immediate fire around him.
Well done.
That was also you as well.
Well done.
I'm not thinking.
Don't talk to me, fire.
Running into fire.
Can I
It worked, I liked it.
intimidate the fire?
No, not on Tyrael's turn.
It's my go?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you proficient in intimidation?
I'm
Yeah.
literally out of spell slots. 'Cause
4, 5.
Are out of spells.
And I'm
I
gonna
don't
pray
pay
to my god
attention.
and channel divinity.
I'm not so good at casting spells.
I'm gonna do preserve life and
Oh, I'm
restore
good at
everybody.
casting
I can see
spells. Just not
how many people.
conserving spells.
Oh,
2,
what's
3,
the
4, 5,
range?
6, 60 feet.
60 feet. Okay.
60 feet, and I get 4 times my cleric level, so 4. 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's say 2 HP for some of them, and 3 HP for some of them.
Okay. So this guy. Okay.
And I get that once daily.
I'm good right now.
So let me think here.
Sure.
Got like boozy
You're-
slurpee.
boom,
and
boom.
booze and
You're
stuff.
not driving.
Boom.
No, I know, but if I drink
No,
any
but-
more, I'm gonna pass.
So
he's
1,
got-
2,
he's got
3,
boozy
4, 5,
slurpee.
6. There's
We're-
7
we're
people.
riding home
Okay,
together.
then I can do 2 HP at least to all of them.
You go-
Okay.
you go for
These
it.
two
Bike.
villagers are gonna
No,
pop
I'm
up
buying
as well as this
I
one
know. I
Biking drunk is fun.
and start fleeing from the
Driving
fire.
drunk is fun, but illegal.
Somewhere over
Driving
here.
drunk is fun.
They're
I've
gonna.
done it
Like,
many
it
times
is.
on
And
private
we do
property,
not
like on a
endorse
motorbike.
drunken driving or drunken
No,
biking.
it is fun.
We
It's
love
super
Wizards
illegal
of the
and
Coast.
bad.
Yeah, don't do it.
I
I've
like
done it on
crosstalk.
private property, but don't do it.
But I'm not
My
shitting you.
favorite.
It's good times.
Yeah, what isn't fun or drunk?
You see several of the villagers start heading towards nearby river,
That's one.
starting
Math.
to try to assemble buckets.
He just said that.
Math.
These ones are gonna jump up.
Who is this guy?
This guy and this guy.
Hey, brother.
These two are also able to make it kind of out more
I just
towards
literally saved
safety,
7 of them.
beginning to set up another. This guy kind of jumps up out of the fire, starts running, only to like kind of run through more fire and immediately face plant once again.
That is amazing.
It was like you were on a time.
This
zone.
guy has been healed as well,
I feel like we're.
so he's able to start running out.
Yeah,
There was a high ping there for a sec.
Yeah,
That text I sent to myself from your phone.
Look at all this fire in
All
the
our
inn.
stuff would have been in the end.
Well, we can't get into the inn.
No, but all our stuff would have been there.
Well,
You
Oh,
may
I don't
have
really
some
have
supplies.
I wear my stuff.
not
Yeah, I
really.
don't really
All
have
your
stuff.
stuff?
Okay, Big Rich, what would you like to do?
I'm
my rope in
moving,
my arm.
try to avoid the fire, and
These are people we saved.
Yeah,
chromatic
they're
orb.
starting to set up. It seems like some kind of
We-
bucket.
Fire
line.
brigade.
Yeah.
Good job.
Second level chromatic
I'm
orb
sucking
of
up
cold
fire.
over here. Just
Okay.
trying to get rid of.
Yeah, make
Much
an
as I
attack
can.
roll.
What about these dudes? Like,
Oh, that's a 21.
Okay, yeah, you
Right.
I spent so much gold.
you're able to do so. Roll damage for me.
That's 7, 10, and then 17.
17 damage.
Of what?
Of course.
Big Rich hurls his chromatic orb at the much collapsed roof. The impact, much collapsed entrance. The impact seems to greatly reduce the fire, and you're even able to blast an opening into the itself. There is still kind of fire roaring around it, but you blasted an opening.
If I can get you there.
Well, you can get me close, and then I can move.
Yeah. Why am I moving that much?
You're not your
I'll like play that you like angle it and like.
Okay, yeah, that much.
You,
And then I
like,
just
propel
kick
just
the guy
running right
that's
out
down
of
a
the
little
fight.
bit, just a little nudge.
And then it
A
just,
little
like,
nudge,
propels me as
a
I'm on
love
my
tap.
turn, I can
Yeah.
move my 30
See
feet.
if he's
Devar, what would you like to do?
What was your initiative?
Pretty high.
Oh, it was right after him,
Third,
right?
yeah.
I guess I'll go a little forward.
I
don't
guess
even know
I'll
where you
go
are anymore.
a little forward. Boop.
Devar's not really concerned about rescuing a bunch of people.
Don't worry, I took care of half of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cleric cares.
Yeah, Cleric did actually a ton. I
feel like I care.
did not expect that many
I
people to
feel
get
like I'm gonna kind of walk up behind the party, but just
Be like,
Drink
oh,
some
we
more
gotta
beer.
save everybody.
Yeah,
but
like,
not really do anything.
we should do something,
Yeah.
guys.
Hey, get
Pour
a
some
bucket
whiskey in the
brigade.
fire.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm really not.
You're
helping here, I'm
encouraging
sorry,
the
but-
townsfolk to help themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Davar does not.
All right.
He looks up for number one.
Artist, do you want to?
I'm not 100%. What are we attacking over here?
So there was this was all
Begin.
collapsed.
Yeah.
With his chromatic orb, he's managed to kind of blast an opening.
Do I see anything?
You can definitely see there's people on the ground floor panicking in the inside of the interior.
Yeah, I'm full on running towards that.
Okay, there is still a little bit of fire in the kind of blocking the entrance,
Right there.
but you could
30.
feasibly.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm dashing.
I would have moved
Yeah,
up.
I have to be 20 feet behind him.
20.
Yeah, so I'm dashing then.
Okay, are you gonna leap
5,
through the
10.
fire and the flames?
Yeah, I don't know
Carry on.
Carry on.
how long does absorb elements work?
Turn.
One turn. It's a
Just a round.
action.
So yeah. So I am no longer absorbing it, but I
Who's
feel
that?
Oh,
like
whoops.
I am.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah, I
not
just
bad.
had to
It's a
20 feet
reaction,
away.
so you can cast it whenever.
I am out of spell slots.
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, second
I'm
level
watching
mage,
the
not a
burn
ton of
and
spell
just
slots.
drinking.
Oh, you're second level. Okay.
Yeah. So I am straight up running.
Are you jumping through?
Yeah, for
Okay,
sure. If
sure.
I got range.
So make a dex save.
Yep.
To try to avoid some of it.
You should move 2 spaces forward, 1 space forward.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
Ah!
What is your face?
4.
And that one though.
Pardon
Yeah,
me?
natural 1.
Yeah, so as you burst through the kind of fire, you tried to wrap yourself maybe a little bit in your cloak.
I thought I had absorbed elements.
Yeah, you get burned for 7 points of damage.
Oh, burn.
But you are now inside of a burning inn. You look forward, you see several panicked people.
That was a hold my beer kind of moment.
The kindly innkeep,
No,
the lovely
no.
barmaid and a patron as well.
No.
Okay.
They all look at you kind of just with terror and hope in their eyes as
How
they look
many
towards
how
you.
many levels is this in?
2.
Okay.
It's on a whole
We are
Other level.
we are in. Yeah.
level.
We're in
Uh,
side the
Yeah.
My false life is
Arneses.
yeah, I'm outside.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is-
just outside.
it's your turn
careening
now, Stinky.
toward-
I am going to go ahead, and I can see that those rubber bands, are they on
It's on
fire?
fire,
That
yeah.
are off the board?
Yeah, so this whole
Yeah,
back
because
side
you
of it
can't.
is
Okay, yeah.
kind
So,
of collapsing
Like
into
I
fire.
kind of like take the middle
And put it to the side.
and cast shatter
On the front end of the...
in the middle of it, and just hopefully explode outwards.
It's thunder damage, so it just.
Well, it's sound and it's ringing
You know what
and it's
fire
thunder,
doesn't
so
like?
it would knock
Air.
shit away, right?
Fire hates air.
It does. Well, quick air.
See,
Science.
I'm just saying, if you got fired,
Neil deGrasse Tyson, get in here.
It might work.
it don't like air.
It might it might disrupt.
Is
It
it
might-
shatter?
I
What
mean,
do you
it
got?
might. It might.
You got chromatic orbs? How
No,
many
no,
you
no.
got of those?
Not that many. But
I'll tell you what.
I'm
Some
checking
air
it here,
damage
yo.
on me.
I was just thinking, like, force damage, maybe.
I don't have force damage. I have shatter.
Yeah, no, air damage is good with fire, right?
Shatter. AOE 10.
Fire doesn't like air, right?
Yeah.
So
No,
10-foot
It doesn't cause it to spread.
So,
Ever.
can I cast
Uh,
It
some
doesn't
wounds
like
on the
being
fire
exploded
and deal
like
necrotic
that.
damage to it?
Maybe it might
Or
knock
not?
it some other places, but that part will go out.
I mean,
Yeah.
fair.
It's highly unlikely that
Yeah.
it will intensify around.
So
me.
it's strong against inorganic material. Okay, and where are you aiming it?
Like
Well,
right in the middle of the fire.
It's shatter, yeah. So you can place
What,
it
like, are
wherever
we
you
talking
want.
here?
The
Yeah,
hottest,
I don't know. Yeah, like
spot.
where that blue circle is,
Right
right,
here?
there. Yeah.
the hottest spot.
Okay.
It's gonna
Um,
blow.
Sometimes they put
go
on
ahead
oil
and
rig
roll
fires with
damage for
explosions.
me.
I'm
They
just
do.
saying.
They do.
Yeah, no, I'm
Or they
Roll
jump
damage.
shot it.
Hey, hey,
That was a thing.
legitimately
Sorry.
saying
Roll
that.
damage.
Oh.
These two guys over here.
It's a con save.
You can't sit together
Yeah.
anymore.
Roll damage.
3d8.
We need to
They're
get the microphone
hooligans.
over there.
I am a hooligan.
You're not.
9 damage.
9?
You
Okay.
haven't had to use this. Bless.
As you cast Shatter over here, a large portion of the wall kind of collapses outward,
Oh,
as well as kind of the stone mooring.
Ooh, that's a fancy word.
You've kind of busted out this side of the wall. You're not sure if it's going to stay put out, but a lot of the debris has kind of collapsed onto the fire, dampening it for at least a moment.
Does there seem to be less fire in general?
If nothing else, it's dampened it for a moment as all this
so
debris
I've given
has kind of
the
crushed it.
people a moment.
I give you a thumbs up.
Yeah.
I tell them to not throw away their shot.
Yeah, I give
He's
you
got
a
one
I
shot.
give you a thumbs up, man.
Dee Dee,
I'm
what
like,
would you
yeah,
like to
hey.
do?
You
I'm
got
going
me.
to
This
run
opportunity
over
comes
to
once in a
that
lifetime.
one who's
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got you, boo.
Can I kind
You
of
got spaghetti
pull her
coming out of your
away,
pockets?
Oh,
back
yeah,
away
yeah.
from the fire?
It's
Yep,
mom's spaghetti.
absolutely. You can.
And cure wounds.
There's a connection there.
Hey,
Or
you're
5.
stealing my gig here.
It's not the disc.
Okay.
On that one.
No, it's the disc.
All right.
Yeah,
Uh,
I had no
movement,
other
right?
options.
Yeah. His eyes flutter back to life. His toes are still pretty close to the fire, but he's definitely breathing once again at a more normal pace. He's conscious now. Tyrael, what would you like to do?
Is that guy A-okay, basically? Halfway A-okay?
He's got 5 hit points.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's better than 0.
Yeah, he's good. He's fine.
Is there no, like, I can't, what are these 3 people in front of me?
Oh, those are NPCs.
That
They
I'm trying
were
to
in the
say.
inn.
That
That look innocent.
I don't know. Yeah, like
They look
that's what I was
terrified?
trying to like give
These,
them an escape.
Yes.
When
I was
you
trying to give them an escape.
when we retconned it so that you were always with the party, you recognize these as the kindly innkeeper and the lovely barmaid who had
Fair
been
enough.
working
Oh,
here
the
previously.
lovely barmaid.
She's lovely, yeah.
Okay.
I use Mage Hand to hold
Get
some of
sued.
the fire away.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to like push the fire away.
Yeah, we are now rated 18A. Sorry, what would you like to do there, Xander?
So I just move forward a little bit there.
Just
Okay.
trying to keep the burn in.
There is, you can see there's definitely some fire still in the entrance of the kind of inn. The back quarter of it is kind of collapsing.
I have to say it. Lords.
Is that?
I tried. There's like literally nothing I can do. I'll move forward a little bit more
'Kay.
as my second. That's fine there. And yeah, that's all I can really do there.
What's burning there?
More
Fire.
things. More
Just
stuff.
like
Just like
bloodshed,
refuse and like party favors. So many of these things that like blow when you blow into them. They like.
Who has a rain spell?
Alright.
Yeah.
Rain. Is
Just
there
buckets of those things.
I want rain.
What about like create or destroy water?
That'll work.
Create would be good. Destroy's not great.
No, it's the same spell.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying.
The
Choose the
bucket
other one.
brigade
One
is
party
starting
Choose the
to
other side.
You see the bucket brigade starting to kind of take up a line and starting to form.
I
This
love
is
it.
the well over
Yeah, there's a well
Right
off
here.
camera over there. Big Rich, would you like to do? Oh, these guys are gonna. One of them is gonna try and make a run to get out.
Survey says.
But he's not gonna make it. These other two are gonna more kind of.
He just dies?
No, he's got kind of the smoke inhalation kind of overtook him as he was trying to.
Yeah.
These two who are on the second floor are gonna try and make their way out. The woman, the mother and her children are gonna start running out. However, you do see another one try to make his way down kind of the rubble of what was the staircase. But he's gonna kind of trip and take a face full of like ember and collapse on the outside, just outside here. Big Rich, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna come over here and try to like make another way out for them without breaking a wall.
Okay, how are you gonna do that?
By breaking another wall.
By breaking another wall. No, I'm gonna try.
Snuff the flame.
Yeah, snuff this guy. The big.
Sure, make an attack roll.
Chromatic orb, second level again.
Okay.
That's a 22.
Yep, and then roll damage, please.
That's cocked. That's 6.
Yeah, I actually give him my whole number.
9.
9.
I like that berry guy.
You launch a flurry of kind of really well concentrated chromatic orbs. The blast of this cold energy kind of emanating, almost freezing a little bit of the door frame. You are able to create a bit of, or beat back the fire enough to kind of create a safe path through the fire and the flames.
Take him out. Don't kill him.
Okay.
Yeah, did you just tell us to kill
Why are you
everybody?
showing-
Devar,
Things.
are you passing your turn, or
Yeah.
Man, it's so funny without context.
Arnis, what would you like to do?
I would like to. The
Pick
guy
up that
that the
girl.
guy that fell.
His name is Big.
Yeah, there's two guys. The one guy came from upstairs and kind of tripped and fell while helping the woman and her.
I
and her
want to
child.
grab him and try to help him out.
Okay, so there's those two
They're
people who
already
fell
out.
outside.
Yeah.
There are two people inside as well.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to help someone that hasn't gotten out.
Okay, so yeah, there's the lovely innkeep
Yeah.
and the
Definitely.
kindly barmaid.
The barmaid.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Who
do
may
that
or
one.
may not be lovely.
16 plus what?
Yep.
What are you?
What are you rolling for?
I'm trying to grab her and help her out.
Athletic.
Okay,
Oh, you're gonna
so
carry her
persuasion. Yeah, it would be persuasion then,
Persuasion.
as you try to grab her attention through all the
It's not
chaos.
great. It's
And among other things.
-1, 15.
It's
15?
plus minus.
Arnis looks at the barmaid and says, just extends a hand and says, "Come with me if you want to live." And she kind of looks around for a moment and takes his hand.
It says, nah.
I assume you then use
Still
your.
15.
You're able to then use your movement, I presume, to
Yeah, all of it.
leave. Kind of pulling her behind. She's not really resisting, so it's not difficult or whatever.
Okay.
It's not a grapple. You gotta pay for that.
I will.
Sorry, Stinky. What would you like to do?
I extend my mage hand out to that guy trapped in there.
Oh, wait.
Whereabouts are you?
I'm right there, yeah.
You
No,
got-
I only
you
have to
got
be 20
dragged
feet
in.
away from
No, but
yeah.
like when
got
you went
dragged
that
over.
way, you got dragged in and then. came
Yeah,
back
yeah, yeah. So as I say, come with me if you want to live, but it's my mage hand.
Yeah. So okay, make a
Yeah.
Persuasion roll.
Okay, yeah.
You have 10 pounds of assist. It's
Yeah. Well, I'm just leading the way.
You're helping
that's
the
all.
other person, right?
What's that?
Or you're helping the same.
Yeah, he's helping the innkeep.
The innkeep.
Right,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Give him
I'm
your
not going
diss.
in, but I'm gonna help him.
I'm with the sexy one, right?
Yeah.
The younger one.
Well, the
Hey,
definitely.
22.
Depends.
22? Yeah.
should've
Seeing
clarified.
seeing the barmaid kind of safely make it, he's very trusting of you.
Agree to what?
And upon emerging, he kind of like puts his hand on his back. Oh, thanks. Us rotund folk gotta stick together, you know.
Yeah, buddy. I slap him on the ass.
He chortles.
Not with my mage hand.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah, no, that's
Dee Dee, there are still two folks. Did I roll for them? No, they just got knocked out.
But they get down again.
Yeah. No, this is their first time getting down.
We're never gonna keep them down.
We don't know that. What would you like to do?
Piss the night away.
I am going to back up 3 steps.
Okay.
3 squares.
Are you still pulling them?
Ready? Yep.
Okay, yep.
Oh yeah, that's my action.
Okay.
Well, actually, I healed him, right?
Yeah.
He's got 5 hit points. So did he move last time?
Yes.
Yes, he
should
did.
have. Okay.
He should have, yeah.
All right, so I'm still
He's
gonna
forming
move
part of this,
backwards.
Yeah, he's in the. He's not doing well, but he's at the end, so
Right.
he's good.
And I'm gonna keep looking around and ready in action to shoot.
Okay.
Whatever.
Tyrael, is there anything you'd like to do there? Tyrael? There's still 2 guys back here.
I'm being distracted slightly.
Yeah, I did.
It's okay.
Gonna make my way towards you a little bit.
This one's you? Yep.
Yeah. That's good there.
20.
Let's do inflict wounds.
Oops.
Is that a touch? That is a touch. I cannot get to them.
Yeah, you would have enough movement to
Would
get
I?
to them. Yeah.
Okay, I'll chuck up Spread the Dying on one of them.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. One of them starts breathing easier.
Okay, oh shoot, I have I guess these are both cantrips, and I can't double cantrip in the same turn.
No.
Okay.
Unless one of them is a bonus action.
Well, one is a Healing Hands as a racial feat.
Is it a bonus action?
It didn't say.
It's probably not a bonus action.
Yeah.
Do you have Healing Word?
I do.
So
Don't
you
cast Healing Word or Cry will kill you.
You can cast Healing Word on one of them. That's just further away.
And then
Cantrip Spare the Dying, the one that is right beside you.
And then you will die in the next fireballs.
It could be. But I think we're going to hand wave away fighting the fire for a lot.
Sorry, what was that spell?
So you Healing Word? I believe you would have
I
it.
do not have Healing Word.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that is.
It's okay. The
It's
only
fine.
last remaining
Oh,
guys
Lesser
was
Restoration. Oh, that's not a. No.
safely able to exit, and there's no way he's going to be dying before you guys can help him. In kind of a miraculous fashion, our party is able to secure the town with no casualties from this attack of this wizard.
Go team!
Let's hear it for the strangers.
No.
No es bueno. No es bueno.
We are the danger.
No,
The town,
strangers.
it takes the town folk much of the night fighting this fire, but they are able to contain it by the time kind of morning rolls around. You all are able to get kind of a rough, but you are able to fit in a full sleep. Probably getting to bed near 3 or 4 in the morning. Probably sleeping into about noon, and maybe some makeshift accommodations that Avil is nice enough to let you into his home. As thanks. Just kind of amazed that nobody was fatally wounded this day. And you can tell that a lot of the townsfolk are very much grateful to you. They bring breakfast to you guys without even being asked. There's just hearts in their hands, very grateful towards you. One lady has even promised to name her child Stinky in honor. Yeah, just as thanks in her way of paying respect.
I message her. Don't put your child through that.
She kind of thinks for a second and then nods and gives you a wink before hurrying off.
I mean, Big Rich will work, but
Don't write
I
that
think
to me.
grab the barkeeper, an older person that I can see around.
Mhm.
What's with this contract? Do you know anything about what that started?
He's utterly clueless. He had not heard anything about
I
these
think,
contracts.
When we went to talk to this guy, didn't somebody have a contract with him or something?
As you recall, you believe that the necromancer was quite convinced that the only reason that somebody was visiting his tower was because they had a contract with him previously. And you believe that he may have convinced himself to the point where he believes you've broken a contract with him. He doesn't seem entirely reasonable or sane. Just like the 100 years of undeath. I don't know.
Can I pick up the phylactery and just like smash it on a rock or something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, he has phylactery on him?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was.
What is?
Big Rich
It's like they're like...
pulls out of his pocket this kind of like small. It's like almost like a pocket watch looking thing, with kind of an intricate amount of gears, kind of embedded inside of it. And you just, with all your might, you start smashing it against a rock for a few minutes before finally kind of re-inspecting it, only to find that there isn't a scratch on it. And is completely undamaged by your attempts to destroy it.
I would like to Eldritch Blast it.
Yeah,
I put it down.
Set it down. You wait for him to set it down before Eldritch blasting it, but again, it is similarly undamaged.
No, we need
What
to
type
put
of
this
damage
thing...
is it?
We need to figure out how to wreck this thing. We need to put it... We need to go to Mordor.
Could be.
Yeah.
And it is the kind of, we're going to say the early afternoon, when you awaken the next day, the townsfolk still kind of rummaging through the burning refuse or the ash and cinders of what is, trying to see what they can rebuild and go from. And
Is there anything left of the necromancer?
no, he was blasted into just little itty bitty bits.
I start saying, I can't believe that Necromancer blasted the side out of this inn. That was terrible.
Yeah, you can make a deception roll.
Do we have any idea
Guidance.
about? Is there
Yeah.
a Mordor? Is there?
There is no
There.
Mordor, no.
I know there's no place to get rid of a.
There may very well be.
No place that we know of.
Not that you are
21.
aware of. 21? Yeah, people start to nod along and agree. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
threw a fireball at
That
the
is-
Yeah, and he
Son
just
of a
wrecked
bitch.
it in, and that it was lucky that those guys could get out that way, but
That son of a
that's
bitch.
some
Yeah.
mean necromancer.
Necromancer.
Could I set it down and then cast Shatter on it?
Yeah, you absolutely could. It has no effect, however.
Oh.
And now you don't have a spell slot.
Well.
I got
It
this
is at this.
flask of alchemist's fire. Does that do anything?
No, you can try, but I'm
You have to
assuming it
use
will
it.
just wreck your alchemist fire.
We have Tinkerer's tools.
Yeah, you can absolutely try a check on it.
I don't know.
But it's at this kind of time the following day.
Alchemist's fire's gone.
If you try it, yes.
Great.
I'll tinker it.
And
It's at this time that kind of Avel kind of gathers you all in his kind of his little home, kind of his center room of his little home. Some of you, the taller of you, probably have to bend over a little bit to keep your heads from hitting
this place
the
so much I can
beams.
barely fit in the door.
He says, "Well, once again, our town's in debt to you. It's probably about time you go see the lords."
All right.
Do they want to be royals?
Hard to say. I think that is.
I like that move.
No,
yeah.
but the
Okay.
real
So
Randy. All of them.
we
No?
waddle
Missed it.
ourselves
I know,
up
I know.
to the front.
I think we're gonna
We're gonna stop.
end right there. Yeah. Well,
Hey!
10 to 10. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow.
I didn't mean to
It went
go so long, but
That's what she